I'd say something, but I'm chewing. Hi, everybody.
I gotta do it then. Um, hey guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. I don't think anyone's posted anything, so just hey guys.
Hi. Yeah,
So
I didn't get
what
to.
did you eat for? What did you have for dinner?
So this is my dinner. I am having a pork bun
Ooh,
and boba tea.
that's so nice.
Yeah, it's good. It was like last minute, so we were like out, and I was like, let's pick up something. So we did.
Nice. Yeah, I had mad leftovers, so I just had because we had the wedding tasting, and then
Fun.
so I had leftover food from that. So I had some nice chicken Alfredo, yummy. High class. He said love the great Akane plot in the thumbnail. Agreed.
Thank you. I kept clicking it when you were clicking it.
I know. I was like, is it just telling me
Like,
no?
why
Is
is it
it
not
just
working?
telling me to fuck off? Like,
How's everyone doing? Don't mind me eating. I'm just trying to finish some stuff before we start. Hopefully it doesn't make me hopefully the drink doesn't make me go to the bathroom.
it might, because I know like bubble tea just goes like straight for me, but I love it.
It's so good. It's so bad for you. But yeah, like I try to avoid drinking anything like right before the pod because early pods
We just
it was tough.
Thank you. Klaus said he was watching the our anime episode we just did on SSS's Gridman and Dynazenon, so that's kind of cool that we're on brand, multi-track branding. I hope you like it. It was fun.
Yeah, I caught the intro to that. It made me want donuts. It really made me want donuts. I'm like, God damn it.
Love some donuts. Yeah, Tay was definitely like in charge, and they were like, Shaw, do you want to host? I'm like, no, I have a lisp. I don't want to host. Like, and then so they kind of became our host by default. Hello, Jack and Tom. Thanks for joining.
Nah, but who better than Tay to do it? He had a lot of energy, so it was good.
Yeah, and like they are definitely the most passionate about the series, so I thought it was kind of clear to me that they should do it. But
yeah. Gustavo says no rush, Onimaru. I appreciate that. I will take my time unless people start complaining. Oh, also while we're kind of getting ready for greatness, how's the audio? Are we okay? Do we sound okay? Is there too much echo? Does Shah have a lisp? Like what's going on?
I do, but I think it's gone like slightly away. Don't jinx me though. Don't jinx me with any S words.
I don't want to make you self-conscious. I actually don't hear it, so you're good.
No, I don't mind because I think it's really funny. So
you sound like not 100% Shah right now.
Oh, thank you. Which is like normal lisp. Normal level lisp. No, I just think it's funny because I had a speech impediment when I was in like first grade, and it was like the exact same where it's like THs and S's were like no go. So I'm like, I'm just going back to my roots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to go back to basics. That's literally the description for this episode. I just wrote going back to basics with this one.
That's so funny.
Also, while we're waiting, how's everybody doing? How's your week been? Any highlights this week in anime? And you heard Cowboy Bebop was canceled after one season.
Probably the only thing that's resembling the original series is only having one season, so it's kind of on brand for that.
It works out. Although I don't think they got through the whole story though. So
yeah, I don't. Yeah. So I've actually been watching it while falling asleep because, like, I don't know about you, but like, so if I'm just like in bed and I'm watching something,
that's so savage. You're just so nonchalant. Like, yeah, I've been actually putting it on to go to sleep.
Okay, so I've gone from like I'm not gonna watch it to my stepmom watched it and she keeps sending me like clips of it or like the Instagram posts, and she's like, "How are you loving Bebop?" And I'm like, I heard it was bad, so I'm not watching it. She's like, I'm having fun with it. I like John Cho. He's really funny. And then she was like nice about it, and I didn't want to be mean. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll check it out, see what's up. Like maybe I'll just give it a fair shot. And yeah. I think it has like a really unique issue in that. Did I tell you my whole spiel of the unique issue? Because
No.
I've done the spiel, but I think I just did it to my fiance like 5 times and no one else. So I'm never sure. So I think the issue is that it's like Cowboy Bebop anime, like it took so many tropes and visual cues from like.
You said this last week in the post show,
I did say it.
And I was like, I thought that was so good. I actually went back, listened to it again. I'm like, Shaw was on point with this. This is
thank
good.
you. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I get a good idea, and then I just say it like 10 times, and then I forget, and then I'm like, okay, this idea is gone now. But
if anyone in the chat did not experience it, and you're just like, fuck you, Onimaru, you just cut her off when she was getting to it. We can have her say it. Just let us know.
Yeah, but essentially, the too long, don't want to hear it again version is that the anime Bebop took so many visual cues from classic cinema, but like classic live action cinema, but the live action TV show took cues from the animated Bebop, so it's so over the top that it really should have just gone back to the original source and taken like visual direction cues from like classic cinema and then done that instead of having like so many degrees of separation. That's like the unique issue I thought it had, but
and you know what's crazy though, I've been seeing reactions from like, because, we see our side of Twitter's reactions, and it's kind of like what we kind of expect. But I've been like seeing like reactions on Facebook and, outside of our sphere. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people were mad. And they're like, calling us like the whiny ones that ruined it for them. And I think people that just did not experience the original show or maybe didn't like really, I don't know, like, kind of watched it for the action. I don't want to generalize, but I think they kind of really were just enjoying the live action version.
Yeah, like I also like, as much as I'm not really a fan of it, I don't think it's like the worst show as like a standalone. Like I could definitely understand like just liking it. I don't think it's that bad that like no one could like it. I just think it's not really Cowboy Bebop-esque. Like I think it misses the point of like the original Cowboy Bebop. But if you never saw the original Cowboy Bebop, I could totally understand just liking it as like this really like cheesy, like kind of cheesy, over the top, old fashioned sci-fi thing where, Jet and Spike have like just so much like banter back and forth on like, just like everything. Like they kind of have those jibes. That's very like Western writing. It's very like Western kind of sitcom vibes. Like I could definitely see liking that. So I think it's just maybe a decent. I don't think it's great. Like it's not like a great show. Like, but I could see it being decent. Like decent show, bad adaptation.
And it's crazy like how when with adaptations or with anything, with like when you look at a work and you don't look at the influences behind it, you kind of just take the surface level thing. It's never really good when you don't understand like why something's being done or was done that way.
So, for sure.
Someone asked, let's see.
Well, going back first, this is on brand before we change topics. Speaking of Bebop ripped to the main writer of the show, that was really sad news. The main writer of Bebop, Tokyo Godfathers, and I think Wolfrain, amongst a lot of other series. She passed away this week from cancer, so that's really sad. So,
yeah, that's unfortunate. I did see that.
Yes, that's unfortunate.
And I did watch a lot of her works. I watched all of Wolfrain. I don't remember much of it, but I was into it when I watched it. I love the ending song, the ending song.
Yeah, well, I gotta check it out. I heard good things, so.
Yeah. Someone asked, I can't pronounce your name, so I don't want to butcher it, but he said, is this podcast going to be about plot or plot? So I think that is a good transition to start the podcast. So let's get into it. Y'all ready? Okay, let's go. Welcome to your next life. I'm Onimaru. I'm here with Shocking, and today we're going to guide you into, a topic that we hold very near and dear to our hearts. We're going to be talking about anime titties. Yep, that's it. That's the topic. That's the reveal. But before we get into that, before we talk about, a deep and cultured examination of I think one of the single most impactful factors that holds up the animation medium. Wouldn't you agree, Shaw?
Yes. Holds
Yeah.
up quite literally.
Yeah. That was good. Before we get into that, we're just gonna, talk about some other stuff. We were talking a little bit about this in the pre-show. We were touching on how live action Cowboy Bebop was canceled this week after only one season. But that's just more of just news. We don't have to get too much into the live action one because I didn't watch it. Shaw hasn't watched it completely. But one offensive thing that came up that bothered me, and I know bothered Shaw, was the topic of fillers. Let's talk about fillers. So what did Shaw? Do you want to inform people of what that's about in regards to Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, so I think it was the account, the person better than I do, but who's that guy, like Johnny Wong?
Justin Wong.
Justin Wong? Okay, I feel bad thinking Johnny.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so Justin Wong, I don't know him, but he made a tweet essentially saying he liked the Cowboy Bebop live action more than the original anime. And he said, I think the exact thing he said was, the original felt very fillerish. And every time I hear filler used differently than I think most people know it as, I have like a slight aneurysm in Twitch, just like have like a mini breakdown, because it's like, it's one thing. First off, I'm not going to get into the like live action versus original Bebop opinion. That's like a separate thing. Totally fair, whatever. Don't care about that. But like, the way I use filler, which I think is the way you also use it, and I think most of us, is like non-canon content that's been added to the series for whatever reason. Like maybe if it's a long-running series and they want the like source material to get ahead a bit, like they'll include some filler so like they can kind of pad their time. Maybe it's just like, a KyoAni series and they just add more content. That's kind of a big KyoAni thing, actually, is they adapt a lot of light novels, but then they'll add like anime original episodes and you can't really tell the difference, but it's like technically filler. Either way, I think of it as like non-canon content added to like an adaptation. That's what I think.
But it does. I think it does work better for the KyoAni stuff, considering it's more slice of life. So it builds into the characterization, which we can get more into, because that's the biggest issue when you don't take into account the characterization that it's doing. Of fleshing out those characters and just kind of dismissing it and being like, well, no action's happening.
Yeah.
But on to
but that's like the general definition. Like, is that how you think of it too?
So I was about to get into that. Yeah. Like I kind of, that's how I kind of grew up knowing what fillers were. I did see someone raise, I think it was the Cynic Clinic, like raise the point that there is no set definition and we haven't defined it. And that might be true. But like when, let's see, like when I first encountered the concept of fillers was when I was watching Bleach weekly. And then like after the Soul Society arc, it went into like a long ass filler arc. And I didn't know what it was. I was just kind of wondering to myself, like, why is nothing happening? Like, it's just sort of every episode is sort of like a quote unquote reset. And then, people in the forums and stuff will be like, well, it's not source material content. This is filler. And then I experienced that again when I started watching Naruto. Same thing, huge filler arc. So that's what I came to know as this is filler.
Yeah, like even though I haven't seen those, that's kind of like my basic definition of it too. I think it's just like that's how maybe it's a 90s kids thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a big three growing up with anime discourse around that era thing, but like that's how I think of it as. And I also don't think filler should inherently mean bad, as you said with like the KyoAni example. Like it's not inherently bad. It should just be a description for like, is this source material or not? So, it's like, it shouldn't be saying like filler equals bad, because I know like some of the best episodes I've seen of various series have been filler. But it just is a way to describe content that isn't in the source material. So I think people use it in like a different way sometimes to mean, oh, like it's non-plot related plot. So anything non-plot related is filler. And I think that's how Justin Wong was using it. And I realized like, okay, if, you're going to call the original Cowboy Bebop anime filler-ish, let's look at like what's the actual plot of Cowboy Bebop. And I'd say that's probably every episode where Vicious is involved, because Vicious versus Spike is like the main story. So if you cut out everything that's not, that's, you know, filler-ish, you get like 6 episodes, because Vicious
I think that's so funny.
Like when you actually think about it, you're like, okay, Vicious isn't even in the first episode. So we're cutting out episode 1. Then we're going straight to episode 5. And then I think it's like 13 or 14. I don't know, like in the middle of the series. And then we go to like the last 3 episodes. So that's it. That's Cowboy Bebop. It's like Fooly Cooly again.
Because what essentially these quote unquote episodes that aren't plot driven in Cowboy Bebop and other anime that also follow this, not exclusively to Bebop, is that they provide some context. You know, like it makes those climactic moments or that last arc like those last 6 episodes feel earned.
Yeah.
And also to play devil's advocate a bit too, like I used to have more of that mindset, and sometimes I do. It depends on what I'm watching, but like where I just want it to get to the plot, or I wanted it to get to the plot already. I mean, I think Bebop is an extreme example because that's only like 6 episodes of quote unquote plot. But you know, I because it's harder when you're watching something weekly. When you're watching something weekly and you're like having like a rough week and you just want to, you know, put on anime and want something to just sort of entertain you, and then like. Let's say it was a slow episode, like you're the thing that's kind of like making you look forward to this anime is like the final battle that they're building up. And so if it's another week where it didn't get there, it's just like, And some shows do that shit purposely, and they're good at it. They're fucking good at it.
Yeah. Like, I gotta be real. I remember, I wasn't watching weekly, but when I did a Hunter x Hunter rewatch and I did like an episode a day, there were a few episodes in between the big Maru and Netero fight where I was like, okay, like I get the point, but like, let's move it along. Cause I know at some point, I think it's like 122, they show Maru and Netero and they have a talk or whatever. And they're like gearing up to fight, and they don't start fighting until episode 125. And it's like, I literally don't care about what's happening. Just fight. Show this other stuff later. Like right now it's fight time. So if I was watching that weekly, I would be like, okay, like let's go. Let's just go. So I think like even for my own favorites, I gotta recognize sometimes you're like, okay, fair is fair, but like let's hit the gas. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. You know, it's like, you know, it depends on the mindset. Because you can be in a mood, you could be like in a different mindset where you just kind of want to, you know, you just want to get to the action that day. But let's say you want to rewatch something, or you want to just see, hey, I've always heard great things about it. Now I'm going to come in and like really savor each episode and really get like why this is considered so good. Then when you're in that mindset, you're not going to be like, all right, let's get to the action. You're kind of like looking for all those little nuances.
I think I watch things like in the exact opposite way you describe, where like the first time I watch it, I'm like, okay, let's see why it's so good. And then the second time I'm like, okay, let me just pick the episodes I like and then go for it.
You're the opposite of me. So first time I'm basic as hell. Second time I'm like artsy fartsy, like just like,
that's
okay.
So funny. That's so funny. Where I'm like, let's go in snob, and then let's go monkey brain. Like, let's go.
That's so funny. That's
so
like,
funny how that works out.
That's how we've had like completely different reactions to certain things where you're like, you didn't get them. Like, no, man, it was just boring.
So we have some good comments on this where Oblivion said that people tend to use filler for padding, which I think is kind of dumb. And I agree that too. And then Daco said, why can't people not have fun watching anime? And then they find a guide on what people call filler and skip those episodes. Like what if you've liked the filler you skip? That's a good point.
I have a good example of this. So I literally verbatim just did this with fucking Railgun season 1. I looked up, because it was just, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone.
I'm not big on season 1.
It was just so slow for me.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't compelling. Like, I get what they were doing with the characters. It was characterizing them. I appreciated it, but I just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, when is it going to pick up? And then I found out Sister's arc isn't even until season 2. So I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I looked up like, you know, what's like relevant, because I heard somewhere like, season 1 has actually all this filler in it.
Yeah, it's like the second half.
Yeah. And then I got confused because then it listed as anime only canon, and then
What does that
filler.
mean?
So it turns out, and I'm like, what does this mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's canon, but it's anime only. I didn't know that was a term. So
Yeah.
it turns out, as I dug into it, that anime only canon means that it did happen in the source material, but they didn't show it. It was alluded to, or they referenced it. So the anime chose to actually show it, to go through that little mini arc. And that's why it's still canon. And I'm like,
Yeah, because Railgun is kind of like next level confusing because you got the main series, which is Index, and Railgun is technically a spin-off manga that just follows Misaka's point of view. So I could see it being like something referenced in Index that is not in Railgun's manga, but then they choose to adapt it because it might have been in like the Index anime, but that like too many degrees of confusing. Essentially, I think it's like the first core of season 1 is canon, and then the second core of season 1 is not canon. So you could probably essentially just skip.
So I did watch those. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. But there was actually like 2 episodes or 1 that was like pure filler, and I was so tempted to skip it. But then someone made a case like one of my favorite episodes from Railgun is a freaking filler, and I'm like, all right. So I watched that episode, and I was like, okay, I could see why. I mean,
you're like, you watch it and you're like, it wasn't worth it. I hate you. Get better favorite episodes. You're like,
no, it had a good lesson. I could appreciate it.
Was that the violin one?
No, this was the one with what's her name? Saten. Her name is like Satan.
Like Saten. Yeah,
yeah.
I forget. I like her. But I am in like a similar boat with Gintama. So I've said this a lot, but like, so I've been like probably not the biggest, but like out of the big Gintama fans, I don't know anyone who complains about season 1 as much as me, but I got to do it because I struggled through a lot of season 1, and I know a lot of season 1 is filler, but a lot of season 1 isn't filler, and some of that is still bad. So one of my favorite episodes of Gintama season 1 is a half episode. And it's essentially what everyone refers to as Kagura's umbrella episode, where like, you know, the main girl in Gintama just see this giant thing. It's just like so casual. You thought you were safe, but that just looks so funny.
I'm trying to chew.
I'm sorry. No peace. Okay, so essentially the episode is called I can't.
Go.
So everyone knows Kagura's umbrella episode. It's like a half episode where he thought he was being sneaky with it. And it's like looks like our thumbnail. It looks like you're eating our thumbnail.
That's so good.
Need a screenshot of that, and that's just the new thumbnail.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail. I'll just replace the have the rock pointing out to me.
That would be so funny. So it's like Kagura's umbrella episode, and it's like half an episode of like her umbrella breaking and then her trying to find a new one, and it's like it's a really cute episode. But that episode is filler, and that's one of the highlights of season 1 for me and a lot of other people. And if you use the Gintama skip guide, you would probably skip it. Like, and there's probably a lot of individual episodes like that resonate with people that you would just skip off the bat. And one of the major arcs in season 2, I think, is really reliant on establishing that sense of community and like belonging. And I think you kind of miss that if you haven't gone through a lot of the individual episodes or arcs that people consider filler. So,
because a point to that is like sometimes people think, and it's fair, that like the authors, whatever they wrote, whatever they had in mind, their vision, you know, if they didn't include that, then it's not necessary. What they have is what they, perfectly crafted. So that's not necessary. Like, why does it need extra characterization if it's not what the author intended? But a lot of these times, these authors, especially in Shonen Jump, are working with time constraints. So they didn't get a chance to, like, if they wanted to, they would have fleshed it out, but they couldn't because they had to keep things moving along. So this gives like an avenue to kind of, okay, let's expand a little bit and make it, a little more seamless, or add that characterization that was missing.
Yeah, so, and it's cool because when you can see like it executed well, it definitely can enhance something and be like, or pretty fun. I heard about, what is it? In Naruto, there's the episode where they try to get Kakashi's mask or whatever. I forget what that, or was it something
I
else?
think so.
And people were like, "Oh yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was really funny." And it's like, something like that can work out really well. Like if it's just a funny episode, sometimes that really sticks with you.
I'm looking up if I skipped it. Oh, I never got to it. Okay, cool.
So you didn't watch it, yeah?
Because I at that point I was pure manga. I was only a manga reader at that point.
Oh, okay.
Because of Naruto fillers, I went to the manga and then I just never went back to the anime.
That makes sense.
So there you go.
And Dako said I would like Haikyuu filler. Fun fact: in the second movie, it would essentially take place like right after they beat Oikawa in season 2. So it would be like right after that. Spoilers, whatever. Sorry, but they have this cool montage. Not a montage. They have a cool scene of like the seniors on Aba Josai like packing up, and then Oikawa was like, "Everyone like thanks for your hard work," and they all start crying. And then there's this really cool scene between Oikawa and Iwazumi, and kind of like this really interesting like cool send off. I'm not gonna spoil it because I would definitely recommend checking it out. You could probably just find a clip of it on YouTube. You don't have to watch the whole movie. That entire thing is filler. Like that's not in the manga. But the cool thing is, Furadate saw that, must have really liked it, and then reference it in the manga later on in the series. So sometimes they were like, yo, like this actually kind of works. Like cool that you guys got to include it or thought of it on your own, and then they reference back to it, which is a cool way of how like sometimes they go hand in hand.
And you also then get really cool scenes that exist even out of context, or like, you can reference in a GIF that wouldn't have existed if it wasn't a filler that gave you an opportunity to be experimental or kind of do this thing like freaking Goku and Piccolo like racing to get their driver's licenses. The fact that exists, even though it's filler.
That sounds like the kind of stuff, like, if you're super into the characters and they're just doing whatever, you'd be like, you know what? I don't care. I just want to see it happen. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's how my a friend of mine felt with Dragon Ball Super, which I was like very down on. And he was like, nah, man, this is an opportunity to get them kind of like, to get these characters, see them in their daily life and just do other stuff. And I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah. That's where I feel like, where it's like, sometimes I like the cast enough that I would be so down to just see them do anything. And I wish there was more of that, like, outside the main story.
But I do feel bad because I think I saw you tweet at some point something about, like, the filler thing or people, like, skipping around the show to enjoy the best parts. And meanwhile, I'm, like, here guilty, like, because I totally did that with Hitman Reborn. The whole first section of that manga, the first 70 chapters is just pure gag. Like manga, and I was just like, I dipped at chapter 40. I was like, I can't do this anymore, and I just skipped to where the action arc started. So yeah, I mean, it happens.
I feel maybe that's a no for the Gintama watch. Maybe,
but that's also like, I'm not into gag stuff, and there you go. So that's probably why it's a no. But I will check it out. I'll give it a chance.
There's like at least, I don't know, maybe there's a bit more than just gags. I think it is like comedy and gags. I don't know. It depends. I don't know, because like, what is your like go-to example of like gag?
I don't know.
Like is Kaguya a gag manga?
No, Kaguya is just amazing.
Yeah, I think if it is good, I'm like, wait.
I don't know, because I feel like Kaguya has a mix of gag and also payoff. So it's like you get the characters bonding, but you also get like a steady like progression with like the characters getting more comfortable with each other, knowing each other. Kaguya and Shirogane kind of, getting closer.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that.
I can see that. Okay. So you want it to like change, like the humor to change over time.
Yeah, I don't like things not changing. That's my biggest thing.
Okay.
I hate like where it's just like one episode did not affect the next episode. So
gotcha. That's kind of tough. Yeah.
that's tough, buddy.
That's tough.
But I've opened my mind, more these days. Plus, if we have a contract going, I'll do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I feel bad because I was in the same boat, but I think I'm a bit more okay with gag manga if it's not changing, but like I can like eventually I can eventually chill. I don't know. Gintama was my training arc for Umineko, which was my training arc for One Piece. That's what I've been saying. So
is Umineko like gag heavy or something? Or
no. It's just really long. It's like 200 hours.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in terms of length. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that shit's just long. It does have some gags that are actually kind of bad, but like it's not super comedy heavy.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll still give it a shot. It might not be my thing, but you know what?
I think you'll like the Gintama hype moments enough to cope through, but I'm not sure. You might just be like, I'm getting the skip guide and I'm just skipping.
I'll be basic. I'll just be like, yeah, I just want the action.
That would be so, yeah.
Side note, have you gotten through, and I don't want to spoil, obviously, but have you gotten through JoJo Part 6?
I haven't started it yet. I'm so annoyed because I told you like my fiance was watching Vinland Saga with me.
Mm-hmm.
We finally just finished that, and then we were gonna go watch JoJo Part 6 afterwards, and we haven't gotten a chance to yet. So that might be tonight. But I've been like, we need to hurry this up so I can watch JoJo Part 6. Like,
I don't care about Vinland Saga that much. I read the manga. Yeah. I'm good. Let's get to JoJo.
I read
Part
the
6.
manga for JoJo Part 6, which is why I could cope. But I liked the Vinland anime though. I liked it. It was good. It was fun. Ashlad, best guy.
Of course.
Goat.
Best antagonist.
King of Kings. Yeah.
Are you reading any new manga or anything recently?
Okay. I've been busy, guys. So Bleach will start. I can't do it. Bleach will start tonight or tomorrow. I will start Bleach. Big 3 arc. That'll be my new manga. That'll be the new thing. But have you started anything besides pork buns?
I just realized recently I have not read manga in a long time.
Oh, that's impressive. Well, are you like not a big manga person, or just like not in the vibe?
Not in the vibe.
Okay.
I'm more of an anime person in general, but I've read. You know, I like casually reading manga at my own pace. I don't have anything against it. Usually, something that compels me is when I want to know, like when the anime doesn't conclude the story, and I just need to know more.
Yeah. Like you have to feel compelled to read a manga.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, where I'm like, I need to feel compelled most of the time, but I want to watch more like.
It's the curiosity, you know, like, oh, what happens?
Yeah. I want to watch more or read more manga just for the sake of having experienced the manga, not just like as the like next part of an anime. That's what I'm trying to get in the mindset of, but it's kind of tough to get motivated.
I mean, the last one I read, which I didn't finish catching up to because it's still ongoing, but it was really good so far. I told you this, Blue Period.
Yeah.
So that's the last one I was reading.
I got to check that out.
Yeah.
Klaus said, listen to the Bleach soundtrack as well. I'm down for that. I just don't know when to listen to what. Like, if someone tells me what songs to listen to, I'll listen to those on repeat. You
got to listen to, I don't know. You got to listen to, I guess when you're starting a chapter, play the first opening, asterisk.
Okay.
When you get to the Soul Society arc, play D-Techno Life by Overworld.
Okay.
When you're getting to the hype moments, play number 1. You got to play number 1. Let's see. Yeah, I think you're good. That's it.
Okay. Because
I'm trying to remember anything else.
I remember he has a cool theme. I gotta check that out. I'll have to check out. Maybe I'll check out some of the anime too, just to see what's up. But
yeah, it is the first anime I ever, let's say, acquired.
That's exciting. That's like treachery, but not before R&R. You know what I think? So I said that I'm going to start with Bleach, then Naruto, then One Piece. I mean, it seems there's kind of like a good natural progression. And then people are obviously like, oh, like starting like worst to best, you know. I have no opinions on it yet. I have no opinions on the
literally that's what I thought in my brain.
Everyone thinks that. I think that's a general consensus, is that it's Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. Like, if you're a fan of one over the other, I'm sorry, that's just what I've gathered. Don't kill the messenger. You've already heard it. But I think I'm gonna have a lot of respect for Bleach, because at the very least it looks good and looks cool and has drip, which is more than I can say for like half of the series I've consumed. Like, especially recently, like, you know, having drip, like people will be like, oh, it's all drip. I'm like, yeah, check some other series. They don't have any drip. They have negative drip.
No drip. Not even like mid-level drip.
Yeah. So like, you know, even having some drip and having that be your main selling point, that's saying a lot. And this is a Tokyo Revengers subtweet. I am openly subtweeting Tokyo Revengers, because even though am like more positive on it now than I was before. It does not look good. I don't think the character designs look good. I think they're like
Does
actively not good.
Especially the main character.
You know what's like the big thing is like his older design and his younger design. You can't tell which one is older right off the bat. And the thing, and you would think that like his younger design would actually be him older because his face is more narrow and he has more of a baby face in the future. So it's like backwards.
Did you finish catching up to it, or you're still?
No, I'm like halfway. It's my gym It's my gym anime, so I watch an episode and a half every time I go to the gym.
That's good.
It works out well. It actually does good.
Pumps you up, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. It was My Hero Academia, and then like season 4, I caught up to that. Now it's Tokyo Revengers, which works, you know.
Do I have to watch it?
I don't think so. No, you're good. Okay, this sounds bad.
What?
It's weird. It's another weird case where like I don't think it's necessarily good. Like I don't think the characters are necessarily really good, but they do a good job of establishing like a compelling situation that I get hooked on. And then I'm like, okay, I'm invested to see if this thing happens or how they resolve it. Yeah. And then they move on to the next one. And I'm like, okay, this is another compelling situation. But the characters aren't really like good per se. Like it's still not like well written or good. It's just kind of like,
it's just based on what's kind of going on next, and just
like, I think despite my best intentions, it's like compels me based on like, oh, will this person die? And I'm like, I'm curious, are they going to die? Or are they going to pull it off? And then I'm like, okay. And then like, will this person die? And it's like, okay, we'll find out. So I'm just like,
find out next time.
Yeah, and I think it does.
Oh.
Suki said no to Tokyo Revengers.
Woke her up. Just like,
yeah, nope. She's like, fuck this. No positivity towards Tokyo Revengers. So I think it's gonna be, you know what have you seen the term enjoyable mid?
Oh, okay. I've never seen that term. I will add it now to my running list of new words. But
I think it's going to be enjoyable mid. So like peak 5.
Go ahead.
It's going to be peak 5 out of 5. So like it'll be my go-to 5.
I thought Mushoku Tensei was your go-to 5.
No. Mushoku Tensei is not a good example of a 5.
Oh yeah, because that wasn't enjoyable mid for you.
No.
That was more like uncomfortable mid.
Uncomfortable mid. Sussy mid. Sussy baka mid. No, because this is like peak of like, I'm not as offended by it as some people, but I'm not as hyped by it as some people. So I can understand both sides of the Tokyo Revengers discourse. But the characters look like ass.
Yeah. What was your enjoyable mid before this, as an example?
I think it was what's the Akane show? Akane Got Kill. That was my 5 out of 5. That was my enjoyable mid because it was literally like I like the first half and I don't like the second half. Like,
I mean, it was had a lot more potential in the first half, but by the end it was like, nah, man.
Well, they just kept like killing each other off and stuff, and you're like, okay, I guess everyone's dying. So like,
I lowered it. I think to 4. It was just bad.
Peak 5 out of 5, so a 10. 5 out of 5, yeah. So it's a 10. Yeah, some people, Amethyst said Tokyo Revengers is currently the worst anime I finished this year. I can kind of see that. I don't know if I finished worse this year. We'll find out. And then Class said he looks older when he was a teenager than an adult, and that's how I feel. Like he looks older when he's younger.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird character design choice.
Yeah, but like I think they did good. I think they did good, like a good job, at least in the first conflict, where it was kind of like, okay, here's the initial like situation, and then they bring it back full circle in a way that I thought was good. So I'm like, okay, I have positive thoughts on this. It's not bad.
Yeah. All right. So I will hold off until you.
Yeah, no, don't watch it. No, don't watch it.
And then you're raving about it.
No, you have so much else to. No. Like,
I do.
This is not my ringing endorsement.
I just made a list of shit that I still have to watch. I was like, fuck. Like, there's a lot. Plus,
I don't think so.
Witcher season 2 on Friday. Oh. Plus, Cobra Kai season 4, December 31st.
It's already so soon. I got my Cobra Kai shirt on.
Dude,
my
so
eagle
good.
fang.
That's such a great shirt.
Bite like an eagle. It's like the
so
funniest shirt until you're like, you think it through and you're like, eagles don't
it
have
make
fangs.
Sense. It's so
eagles
dumb.
Don't have fangs. It's so dumb, but like the perfect dumb.
I mean, it describes the show. It's like we have to fight for the fate of the valley.
Yeah.
or you can call the cops.
Yeah, when she's like, I'm calling the cops, like you're not having karate mafia wars.
Yeah,
it's so
like,
funny.
Guys, you're acting like you're still in high school.
It's so funny.
Great show. a friend of mine described it as like, oh, it's one of those shows that's like, it's so bad that it's good. But I'm like, I don't know if I
don't
agree
think
with
it's
that.
bad.
I think it's good.
It's just 80s cheesy.
It's 80s ham.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very specific stylistic choice.
And it pokes fun at itself to kind of give it that modern sensibility. Like, so.
Yeah,
sort of
that's like what his wife is doing when
Yeah.
they're like, we're going to challenge the other karate dojo. She's like, or we can call the cops.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the modern realism with the 80s ham.
It's making it clear that these guys are stuck in the past and they should not be.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's perfect. I think it does great.
Yeah. I think its peak so far, its highest peak was end of season 2. Season 3 was solid, but I think season 2 was really like.
Was season 2 when they get in the fight at school?
Yeah.
That was
that's the one that fucking escalated. Like, just.
That's like. My fiance watched it before I watched it with him, and he's like, I think this just got like way too ridiculous. Like, some dude is paralyzed now. Like,
yeah. It was like, but you know what? I was emotional. I was like, my boy.
Like,
yeah. But it was still good and crazy because that's the season before it was on Netflix. Because season 3 was the Netflix produced one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because that's when they start bringing in all the stars, like the big people. Yeah.
So if you haven't watched Cobra Kai, check that out. Season 4 is coming out soon.
Greatness. Because I'm not even like, for reference, I'm not even like a huge Karate Kid fan. Like, I watched the Karate Kid, I thought it was cool, but I'm not like, like OG Karate Kid fan. Like, as long as you've seen the Karate Kid once, you can go and watch Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, I'm not either. That's what I tell people because I only watched the first one. That's the only one I remember. I didn't know there was a 2 and 3. Yeah. So I'm like literally talking to my friend, and he's telling me, "Oh no, that new villain they're introducing, he's from Karate Kid 2." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, when they reference back to it, and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know who you are, but okay."
Yeah, like the whole arc in season 3 where he goes to Japan. I'm like, I did not watch this movie. I don't know who this guy is, but context clues, I get it.
Like, okay, here it is. But
But I'm excited for that. I'm excited for The Witcher. Have you watched The Witcher?
I saw the first episode, but I didn't finish it. Is it good? Is this another Tokyo Revengers?
I mean, it's a little better than Tokyo Revengers, but it's like it's definitely enjoyable. It's definitely enjoyable. I don't think it's like the best written thing, but like it doesn't really bother you. Like it kind of works. It's good.
It works.
Yeah,
it kind of works. Us recommending all our 5s and 6s, like it's like a 6, but like it works.
Yeah, like it's fun. Like it's a fun show. But I definitely think it's Henry Cavill's best role because I didn't like him as Superman, but then again I'm not a big Superman fan.
He's like he needs like good writing for that role because you can tell like he could pull it off with the right writing, but like they just did him dirty. I feel bad.
But it also helps that he's a huge Witcher fan. So
I love it. He's such a nerd. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then Daco in the chat, yes, he's referring to that scene we were just talking about. It's the only scene he's seen. Dude falling from the stairs. Yeah. Spoiler.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, it just like went from 0 to 100 in that one moment.
People going to jail and shit, like wild stuff. Like, okay. Now most of the show is not like that. So you're like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We should probably get back on topic.
But I think in true filler sense.
Yeah. We were talking about plot, right? Plot structure.
Yeah, and Bleach.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bleach, everything.
Let's see.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, yeah, actually, I had a question for you. Have you ever tried to learn Japanese? And what are your thoughts on it?
I definitely snob. It's like you can't keep doing that. He can't keep getting away with this. I think I kind of tried, but not like seriously. But like, I don't know. I'm very bad with languages, but like, I think I had my period of like, let me try and learn Japanese, but like look up a few things. I don't know. Have you tried to learn Japanese as like a good anime fan would?
Yeah, I was definitely that anime fan that tried to learn Japanese. I took some classes in high school, and then like I took like 2 years of it in college. Yeah, and then
that's cool. Oh, that's like serious.
I wanted to minor in it, but they didn't offer like a minor in it. It was like a broader specialization, so you have to like specialize in like Asian studies, not just Japanese. So
Yeah.
I was
None of
doing
this other
that.
shit. Just
Yeah,
Japanese.
yeah. I mean, it was interesting, but I was like, I don't really care about this, guys. I'm
Yeah.
a weeb. Like,
Yeah.
I just care about
Yeah.
Japan. But no, I liked learning language. I kind of really just fell off hard in my second year though, because that's when you got really into the kanji, and I
Yeah.
wasn't paying enough attention to really like thrive in it. So that's kind of it.
I think my mom like anti-hyped it because she lived in Japan and taught English there for a couple years.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah. So she's like, she would also like randomly say Japanese words, even like before I had watched anime. She just like incorporates it. But like she told me how difficult it was. She's like, they have to learn two alphabets. And she said that when I was in elementary school. So I'm like, nah, good off that shit. Like,
Nope.
She anti-hyped it so much.
I love how you knew from elementary school, like, yep, that ain't me. That's not
That ain't me. Yeah, just like not even trying with that. But I mean, yeah, it seems really difficult. Like learning kanji and all that would be like, I don't
That's
know.
the only part I think I found difficult, like the kanji, like remembering all the kanji, but then also like, I don't know, wrapping my head around sentence structure was a little tough. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
pronunciation
like
was
Yoda, right?
fine. What was that?
It's like Yoda's talk, right?
Yeah, like it's the opposite order. So it was like, and then you have to use certain particles, and that always like kind of confused me. So,
And I find, I'm not as much of a Star Wars fan where I can be like, oh yeah, I understand Yoda talk. I can just
hungry.
do that.
I am. Dako says, what about these YouTube videos that will teach you Japanese in your sleep?
Is that like a real thing? I feel like I would just like not actually learn it.
I heard that was a myth. I heard that like that wasn't like that it doesn't actually work.
Teach you Japanese in your sleep. That's just falling asleep while watching anime. That's just like actually doing that.
Actually, I'm sure you've heard this, because I think if you're an anime fan, if you've been around long enough, you've definitely heard that you shouldn't use anime to learn Japanese.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like my Japanese teacher wasn't into anime, obviously, but she'd always say that. Oh yeah, don't watch anime to like learn Japanese, because that's not how we really speak. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and you can tell from like I think it's evident in some anime films where they don't cast anime voice actors. They cast like more like authentic actors for those scenes who do like live action voice acting, that it's a lot different. Like it's not as hammed up and it's not as over the top. So I think a combination of that, and then you keep in mind a lot of these shows are for kids, so they're going to have like a lot, like way more simplified vocabulary than like probably actual Japanese speaking people, you know? It's like, you can kind of tell the same phrases, but a lot of it is so over the top.
Yeah, no, I've definitely, I think I've heard the difference. It's really the over the topness, and then certain word choices. I don't know, because in a lot of anime, it feels like they use a lot of English words where they clearly don't have to. Like they'll just drop an English word for something, and then suddenly everyone understands. And then I kind of wonder, like in actual Japan, like when they speak, like do they actually incorporate these English words, or is that not actually like a thing? Like I know for some things, like coffee, I think they do use the loan word. They say kohi. But that I've heard. But for other stuff, I'm like, I don't know if they use this as often.
Yeah, I can't tell. I know that sometimes they just drop some like English words in there, but like, I don't know how prevalent is English there. That's interesting to think of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. I was in Japan and like I had to like ask certain questions sometimes. So I don't know. I didn't always have to. No, I mostly use Japanese words. The one time I was like trying to ask something in English and the guy just looked at me like so like confused. Was I was trying to ask for aspirin in Japan, but I did not know it did not exist in Japan. So I was
it just
like,
doesn't exist at all?
They don't use aspirin. They don't use that stuff.
So
I'm like, I was like, what's the remedy if you have a headache? You put a moist towel over your head, and that's kind of it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did it work?
I mean, I was like, that. Yeah, I guess that. No, that didn't work. But like, I was just like, okay, aspirin. Then I was like, ibuprofen. You know,
saying, like,
and the guy, and it was at a 7-Eleven, or it was like at one of the convenience stores, and the guy's just looking at me like, bro, I don't know.
That's so interesting. I forgot. That's interesting that they just have like, you know, I guess their FDA approved stuff is so different.
Yeah. Shaw's currently glitching out.
I'm sorry.
She's
no.
trying to disappear from the pod. We need the fans. We need you guys to kind of tether her back here. She's seeing the lack of excitement. She's just coming out of the pod. We need to bring her back. Let us know that you're here for us, and not this anime that we speak of.
Let me see what's up.
While Shaw's busy disappearing, let's see. I did have another question.
Is it back now?
Yeah, I think you're better now.
My internet keeps like going like semi in and out. Okay, I guess it's good now.
Shaw, do you have any hobbies besides watching anime?
It's like that's like the equivalent of like, oh, I guess I'm glitching again. Okay, my internet keeps like baiting me. It's not fair. That's like the equivalent of like, what do you want to do in 5 years? I don't know. Do I have hobbies? I guess not. I guess I don't. Besides, like, video games, I guess doesn't count. And then, I guess video games doesn't count. And then, I feel like I end up watching a lot of sports by proxy of my fiance, but like,
Nice.
Not really in recent times. Do you?
No, I just like caught myself every time I catch myself thinking about it. I'm like, hobbies are healthy. It's good to have hobbies. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, do I have any hobbies? I mean,
well, like
I watch anime, binging shows.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it, and maybe this is a bad excuse. You don't get hobbies when you're in a like late adult, not like late adult, but like, when you get older, you don't get time for hobbies as much because because I have a dog. A dog is my hobby. That's
it. It's no, that's not a hobby. That's a full-time job.
It is kind of like a child. Do you want to say hi?
This is Suki's debut on the Just Weebs podcast. We are happy.
She made a cameo before, but now she's hi.
No, this is official one. This is the official one.
Say hi.
She is here. She is greeting you. She is a weeb at heart.
She is.
While you guys focus on her, I'm just gonna
keep eating. Cece, what's up? So I have a dog, so that's my hobby. I feel like it should count. I mean, she definitely takes up a lot of time. Are we not feeling it anymore?
So you're saying before you had your dog a few months ago, you had no hobbies?
Yeah, but now I have a hobby.
Hobby acquired.
We a pooch.
We a pooch. I like that.
We a pooch. I love that. Oh my god.
Just we a pooch.
Favorite Hades weapon? That's like my type of question. Because like you haven't played Hades, right?
No, it's on my to play list.
Okay, it's really good. I would recommend it. My favorite Hades weapon, at first it was the spear, but then I got so bad, like I just wasn't making progress because you need more range. Internet, come on.
I think I inadvertently turned the pod into Ask Shaw questions.
As my internet goes out. Where'd she go?
Quick, ask her more questions before she disappears.
Yeah, right. So my favorite is probably the bow and arrow, but also like the gun. When you get the gun, that's like the best one.
What kind of game is Hades again?
I guess
it's like an RPG, right? RPG.
They call it like, what is it, like dungeon crawler? That means more to other people than me, but it's kind of like, what are you eating?
I think I played one like that.
Worried she's eating something. I guess so. It's kind of like I don't know, like you're like essentially in like a dungeon and you're trying to escape it, but like the different levels change. I don't know if that means anything, but like I guess it's technically an RPG.
Okay.
Yeah. Roguelike. Okay, it's roguelike game.
But it's not like turn-based.
No.
So it's like Kingdom Hearts?
No. It's like, does anyone else have a good example? Because I don't have a good example. Roguelike dungeon crawler. Like, that means more to other people than me.
I can look it up, guys.
I don't know how to describe it because I'm such a noob with games. Like, I don't have a good range of, like, reference for what it's
Dude,
like.
if I made a 3x3 of, like, favorite video games, I think it would be a very, very small list.
But what would be on it? That's a good question.
I don't know. Kingdom Hearts.
Let's go.
What else? I did like Final Fantasy VII Remake. That was fun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm trying to remember. Definitely a lot of JRPG stuff. So
Yeah.
actually, I really liked Portal. That was fun.
Portal is fun. I like Portal. Very
I never got to play the second one though.
I heard the second one was really different, but I think it's like most people's favorite. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I've always heard like that's the one a lot of people really like. Not that the first one is bad or anything, but I just never got around to it. I'm trying to see if I've played any dungeon crawlers. It looks like I'm looking at a list. It doesn't look like I have.
It's like you kind of get it once you like join it. Like you'll know what you mean when you join one. Like you'll understand it. But it's really good. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, here's something I really want to know about, actually. And this is open to the chat, Shaw, everybody.
Everyone with an internet connection.
Everyone with an internet connection. Memes. So I see all these great memes, random memes. I see them all the time, especially on Twitter, in threads. People just come out with this stuff, like the right GIF or the right picture at the right time. And it's like, do people just keep a meme folder? Like, is this just at the ready? Do you have like a folder where you just see something, you're like, oh, that's great, stealing it, and you just have it loaded, categorized for that right moment to just hit?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. So like my friend Tyke on Twitter, Punished Tyke, he posts the best memes and reaction images. So I'll like either bookmark them or I'll just save them. And then I have everything typed as like meme. And then if I want to respond with a meme, I'll just, post that and I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Okay, got it.
I should put it in a folder though.
So you don't have a folder, you just look it up. Got it.
Yeah, I have it saved to my computer though. Because there's like a lot of like really random images that work well as memes.
Yeah, like there's just funny stuff, but it's just like trying to find it in the moment, it doesn't come up. So I'm like, maybe like having a folder for this would just be overkill.
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely helpful. I've seen a lot of really funny like screenshots and stuff that I'm like, and it's like random stuff that you wouldn't find, like Arthur the Aardvark memes.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty hilarious. I love how like memes have like phases.
Yeah, when there's one that I remember, it's like Charmander disappoint. That's what I save it as, where it's just like Charmander looking like, Charmander disappoint, like he's just looking like with this like face, and it's just so funny because like you don't have to say anything, you just know.
I really enjoyed that the Jimmy Fallon thing recently. He had Jonah Hill on, and then I don't know if you know the context, it was trending. And this is totally about anime, of course. But he had Jonah Hill on, and then like towards the end, he was like ready to he's smiling, ready to shake his hand, like to end the segment. And then the guy just starts plugging like his beliefs on climate change or something about climate change, and then you just see Jimmy's face go from like smiling to just dead ass serious. Like you could tell he's pissed. And at one point, he's just looking at the camera because I think he's looking at the producers, and he has like the only face. So I sent it to you actually when I was responding to you.
Oh yeah, when you were
yeah. Because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect meme.
Yeah, that's a perfect. I thought it was just like already a meme.
No, it was literally that same day.
So wait, what happened? It was like them just trying to wrap it up, and then Jonah Hill just starts talking about climate change and stuff.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like that long. I just don't think it was on script. Like it was just sort of, he's like, hey, before I go, just gotta plug this climate change. You can call this number or organization or blah blah blah.
Oh, I feel like that's okay.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild. Jimmy was so pissed because I thought he was
pissed.
I thought really? Jimmy would be chill.
Nah, man, I think it's an act.
You think so? Do you think Jimmy's like not?
I don't know. People have been saying that for years. So like they kind of say like he's just sort of just kind of faking it, or he's just kind of following like whatever they write for him. But
I could see that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I like Jimmy Fallon. I'm like, I don't want him to be fake. No.
I mean, he has a fun format.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. No, I never got to see him live. Who I got to see live was Colbert. There you go.
Oh, how was that?
It was fun. It was cool. It's kind of like it takes away a little bit of the magic though when you're like in the audience.
I can imagine. I don't even know how they would work like that.
I don't know. Do you want me to spoil the magic? Do you want me to?
Yeah, because I'm so curious about it.
So you're basically sitting in the seats, and there's cues for when they want you to clap or laugh. So like you're looking at the screen and you just got to follow along like with what kind of happened. So like because of that, like so and the show's like all planned out, but because of that you're not as much paying attention to the show or feel as immersed as much as you know the cues and sort of like you know they kind of look far away, they're on stage, and then you kind of see all the cameras and everything around them, so you're kind of like behind all of that. So it's all right.
Kind of like you're another character, but like
yeah, but you don't get screen. You don't get screen time.
A character without screen time, but another job. That's tough.
Yeah, yeah. So it was all right. Because like when you're watching it live, you know, it feels like natural, and you know, you're like, oh yeah, they're really enjoying that joke instead of like, all right, you're supposed to laugh here. So,
that's so tough when they have the like cards for like laugh here and stuff.
I mean, I think it was good fun. So you know, it was still fun. It was still a good experience, but it was just like, all right. Kill the magic a little bit. This is probably how game developers feel when they like dream of making video games. Go to make a video game. Like, yeah, this
probably
this
like everyone. Like when they work for something where they're like something they enjoyed or something that they enjoyed doing, and then they work for it and they're like, I can't enjoy this anymore.
I want to make anime.
Yeah,
anime industry.
Yeah, that's probably that can only be with love.
Carl Malik says Jimmy is a massive simp for corporations. So yeah, I could see that. Jimmy Fallon is the Reagan of real life. I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm not giving it to him.
Okay, because you know that like if Reagan was real, he wouldn't be like.
Stop it! That. No.
You know.
No.
Like you know.
No.
That hurt deep.
Now I'm seeing it.
You see it.
All right. So.
That's so tough.
We've been going on for an hour. I think it's time to talk about the most important topic at hand. Boobs, kachangas.
I can't tell if you're talking about your bubble tea boba.
Bobas in anime. What does the Weeapooch have to say about the single most important factor in anime?
He's looking sleepy. Say woof woof. No.
She's like, is out.
She's like, she's like, no cameras.
She's like, I'm not into this. I'm not here for this. I'm like, okay.
He's like, you want freedom, but you can't chew on cardboard.
I know how to get her to bark. Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah, she was like chewing on cardboard boxes behind me, which is like her go-to. And I'm like, no, you cannot do that.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Eating the cardboard boxes. She tears them apart.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, Shaw?
I feel like I'm more of an ass person, so I'm not even like well prepared for this.
And that's it. That's the pod.
Yeah, right. Ass cast next. Yeah, I feel like this is like essentially what every like harem comes down to, right?
Pretty much. It's either one or the other, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
We should run a poll. Actually, speaking of polls, we did that one recently on if we should do a segment, if we should open a Just Weebs Curious Cat and read questions, anonymous questions as a segment and give our answers. What did you think of the results, Shaw?
I knew they would say yes, but I think it'll be, it's going to be tough because like sometimes we just like, we'll get random questions. Like every once in a while you get a good curious question, but then you get just like absolutely bad questions.
Yeah, that's true. But you can filter those out. You can scroll through. Like, would you want to, if we did do that, and also, the chat viewers can chime in. We'll listen to your feedback. But would you want to do that every week, or see us do that every week, or would it be like something we let like build up for like a month and then just do it as like a segment?
That could be like our pre-show or something.
That could be it too.
Yeah.
Or post-show. Like, stick around for us just now reading these questions and seeing what cancer we get.
Yeah. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to see. I mean, I think we could get some good questions, but more importantly, we could traumatize Onimaru with questions so he could understand the true evil of Curious Cat.
I feel like that's the true objective. Traumatize Onimaru. Yeah. C52G said, if you get good enough questions per week, then do it weekly. But otherwise, I would curate it for monthly. I think that's a good one. That's a good way of looking at it. Yep. Yeah, I think we just got to open it and see what comes in.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun to see. I just saw a tweet. Well, I saw a tweet earlier that was like, point of view, you're looking at the best anime movies out there. And it's like Pancreas, Weathering with You, Your Name, and A Silent Voice. And I'm like,
Weathering with You shouldn't be there.
How is that the first one you call out when I said Pancreas? I said Pancreas first.
You know, I had a funny thought of the Armstrong, was it Armstrong and the Izumi's husband? I don't know his name. That meme where they're like, you know, shaking hands or joining together. Yeah. Where it would be like, one would be like, Your Name, best ever to do it. The other side would be A Silent Voice, best ever to do it. And then the middle would be Pancreas, 1 out of 10.
That's like our podcast. You should make that and then post that for this tweet.
I will.
I think the way we get you to post on Twitter as much as I do, which is not advised but could happen, is you need to respond to more bait tweets that are obviously like just there to create a reaction, but you need to respond with memes just to be like, no, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that essentially the essence of shit posting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been tweeting a little more, tiny,
I saw that.
Smidge more.
I was like, look at that.
I'm trying. I'm never gonna get on your level, but you know what?
That's not. No one should.
You can't compare yourself. You gotta have your own journey. Do your own thing. You know, you can't be shocking.
No,
she has king in the name. King in the name. You can't do it.
Point of view. You don't have an addiction to Twitter. That's like core of it. Like that's just.
Shh. They don't know it's an addiction as long as you don't say it. She's seriously suffering, guys. This is her call for help. Listen now.
Call this number.
I was about to say
Call
that.
this number.
Email us at justweebspodcast@gmail.com. Yes.
Yeah,
Send
so
us
it's
a
like
voicemail.
1-800-TOUCH-GRASS.
1-800-TOUCH-GRASS.
Should do like a fake commercial.
Actually, I do have a serious question. Serious question, not meme question. Jesus Christ, I almost spilled my plate.
Not the buns.
Twitter, and this goes to the chat. Twitter persona or / online persona versus your in real life, self. Do you feel like how you present yourself online is the same as like how you are in real life? Is it just the same, or do you feel like it's slightly different? Is it more of a persona? Is it you feel more like yourself? You feel a little more comfortable without, sort of anxiety or anything?
That's a good question. I mean, like, I think my Twitter self is pretty much me minus like every like toxic thought I have. Some still seep through, but then this is like a nice middle ground of like, me saying like Tokyo Revengers is like enjoyable mid. I might not tweet that like just in general because I mean, like I wouldn't tweet that unless I was purposely baiting the fandom, because I know Tokyo Revengers has a lot of fans and they'll be like, they see that all the time and then they just go crazy off of it. Either people will like gas that up because they think it's mid, or like they'll do it to respond. I know that would just be causing a reaction, but also like I just don't have as much fun being overtly negative on Twitter. So it is kind of like a way to filter out like, if I have negative thoughts on something, I don't have to say everything on Twitter. That kind of goes for everyone. You don't have to say everything you think and post it on Twitter or social media. I know I've seen some people like, and it really does seem like they just post everything. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. But back to the original question, I think it's mostly me. I just don't really get to talk about this stuff as much in real life. So, I mean, it's pretty much just me, but getting to talk about my hobbies as much as I would in real life if more people around me watched anime and if they watched the same anime. Like, I talked to my sister about some of these, but like, I felt really bad. One time I went really hard on like Seven Deadly Sins. And
she has different taste from you, Shaw. She has different taste.
She liked Tokyo Revengers and gave Kaguya like a 7. Like, if I show you her mouth, you guys will be like, nah, it's over. But
That's the next roast. Roasting your sister's Mal. Get her to make a Mal, and then we'll just roast it for a whole
she
episode.
did make one. I did. If you see some of the scores, you'd be like, but like you know, she's like an actual 14-year-old, so like it's gonna be different. But like
she's actually the age of an Ava pilot. See, she can relate. Actually, did she hate Ava? Make her watch
She
Ava.
hasn't watched it. I don't want her to watch it. I don't. She asked me for my favorite, and I told her Steins Gate, and I'm like, oh no.
No.
Yeah. Like So yeah, like I think it's pretty much me. I don't think I'd be good at like putting on a persona, because I feel like you have to kind of like remember the persona, and like some of your true self might slip through. And I don't have the memory for keeping up a facade. Like I would just be like, if I'm doing my normal thing, or like if I'm doing a facade, and then I'd like let some part of my like real self slip through, and I'd be like, oh, it's over. But
I'm horrible at that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Is that kind of the same for you? Like,
I think I've noticed like my work self is much more reserved unless I've gotten comfortable with people. But usually like I'm seen as like really quiet, as opposed to like stark contrast. Like I can't say online persona because I don't. I'm only tweeting.
That's a good one.
What?
Because my work persona is like so different than like offline.
I think that's what I'm really thinking about, like work persona. Because I feel like when you're at work, you just feel like you're a different person, or a different side of yourself, or that you're not really, being your full self.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. You kind of have to. You kind of have to put on, your game face or whatever you want to call it to kind of get shit done, even though you really don't want to be there. But that versus like me hanging out with friends, like completely different. Stark contrast.
Yeah, my work is like very awkward, and most people are reserved. Like it's a very unsociable environment. So it's always funny when we have like icebreakers, and people will be like, "Oh, like what's the latest TV show you watched?" And I'm like, have to think, what's the last live action TV show I watched? Because I'm not going to be like, "Oh yeah, so I watched but it was a good, like, really cringy example. Like, oh yeah, I like watched this Japanese cartoon none of you guys have ever heard of, but like.
Well, the great thing, I feel kind of like I don't know, like I feel like a one-trick pony, but like pretty much usually like if any form of entertainment like TV shows is brought up, like in a work function, or I'm talking to someone, easy. That's like just super like, that's my entryway to just dive in and just go on and on and on.
Oh, that's cool. That's good that you use it as like an opportunity, because I probably should, but like.
Because like I don't know, I had a coworker, he just recently moved on, but for the past like 2 years, like he doesn't know anything about anime. He doesn't like any shows, but the one thing he was into was Marvel. So I used that, and he's like kind of like a really like sort of like unsociable, not unsociable, but he kind of really kept himself. So Marvel was like my way to sort of just bond with him like about all this stuff. Yeah. Because he was like trying to watch all the movies to really catch up, because he wanted to watch all of them so he could watch Infinity War.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah. So I wrote him a list, and I was like, okay, you go in this order, watch it, and then we kind of use that always like as a talking point. Or even recently with like we have like a lot of older people at the job, so I'll just be like, yo, I recently just finished The Sopranos, and then I use that as like a gateway topic.
Yeah, The Sopranos. It reminds me of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh my god! Yo, don't spoil that. That's not out yet.
Yeah, that's right.
But actually, no. What was peak was like 2 years ago. I had just started at this place, and it's like they Game of Thrones was ending, and so everyone was talking about Game of Thrones weekly. So like, even though I barely knew these people, I could just walk into the kitchen ranting about the last Game of Thrones episode, and I was just jumped in.
You could. That's probably like the best way to like interact with people, is when you're like, so that Game of Thrones, and everyone's on the same level. I could only imagine.
Yeah. Weirdy also said, I think he's referring to, it's the same thing with like Squid Game. Squid Game is an easy sort of like, hey, you watch Squid Game? Yeah. It's like an easy way to sort of have that similar experience of like nerding out how you would with anime, but with like a live action show.
Yeah, I think that one works out pretty well. I had a like in-depth discussion, pretty much the same discussion we had with someone who I've been kind of cool with. This is gonna be the end game mode. Tell my coworkers that I watched my little sister can't do that.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna be watching that soon, right?
No, I won my bet, so I technically don't have to. So Mathwiz has to watch Haikyuu. So
wow. I mean that's pretty unfair, actually. Like, why would they make you watch that when you're giving them such a great show in return?
Well, she already started Haikyuu. It's more of like kind of finishing it up, and I didn't think of a better one. They kind of just brought it up. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of works out well. So I'm like, yeah, that kind of works, but it's a lot less exciting.
I do have to say to Weirdy right now, he said, they be like, where the hell you been? Sopranos was years ago. Yes, verbatim, this is what I got. But I used that. I was like, oh, why are you watching it now? I'm like, well, I just finally got around to it.
Yeah, and that's so fair too, because I feel like everyone could be like fair game for that.
Yeah, and also oh, go ahead.
Where you said equivalent exchange IQ for or emo. I think I will unironically like or emo, but like not all of it, but like the part that other people like. I think I'll like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think no. I think the first part is enjoyable. It's really those damn OVAs.
Like, yeah, I've heard what happens.
Yeah, because the OVAs build you up in one direction and pull the rug out from under you in the last episode.
Because I don't know if this is weird. This is definitely derailing. This is definitely okay. Oh, see, RDA. Sorry, we're seeing your message. We just got it, just kind of falling off. But I saw that they said they showed Rohan to his coworkers without context. I guess that's the Rohan OVAs.
Oh yeah. I started. Yeah. I never got around to watching those. And
me neither.
Friend showed me the first episode, and it was interesting. I just haven't gone back.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, we didn't get to your other messages. The other ones weren't really real. We didn't see. Well, the earlier ones, Onimaru did show me the website you made, but it wasn't really relevant to the conversation, so we didn't bring it up. But we appreciate the other messages you had. Yeah. So I don't know if this is weird, but I'm like, I will respect a show if it's going full incest. Like, if that's just like what they're doing. Like, if they're going all in on it, I'm like, okay, they've committed. But then
I forgot for a second what we were talking about. And like, why is Shaw talking about full incest? What happened?
Like,
we just escalated.
Yeah, a huge swerve into incest.
I mean, that would be my pitch for Game of Thrones. Essentially, the first season was always like, guys, it's just a little incest. It's fine. It's good. Trust me.
You know what's funny is that like people will complain about like, I mean, not the way things are handled, but like if people are like put off by a series like touching upon something, like if something has incest in it, but like, you know, whatever, like if it has it and they're like, oh, that's so weird. It's like, you watched Game of Thrones. Like, I'm convinced like the majority of people can handle most things because they watch Game of Thrones, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, once you've done that, you know, you use that as a gauge. It's like, all right, man, you've seen this. You can see anything. I actually used that after season 4 of Game of Thrones. I pretty much, like, when I don't want to see something like, oh, maybe it'll be too gory, but then I compel myself by saying, like, dude, you watched the freaking, what was it? Not the Red Wedding.
That battle? The Viper?
What? Yeah, you watched that. You're good. You can watch anything now.
Yeah, but like when people are like, oh, like this subject matter is weird or not, it's like the first episode of Game of Thrones has an incest sex scene and you kept watching it. You can watch anything, you know, like you can watch anything. Like how many millions of people saw that, kept going, and were like fine with that subplot, you know?
I'm trying to think if there's something nowadays that I can't watch. I think there's nothing really that I can't watch at this point.
But I'm also thinking more along the lines of like non-weebs saying how weird anime is. Yeah. Like along those lines of like, oh, well, like the anime does this thing and it's weird. And it's like, you watch Game of Thrones.
No, I still think anime does have still has some weird things.
Yeah, because anime won't be as like critical of incest as Game of Thrones. It'll still be like there, but sometimes it is critical of it, and people are still weirded out.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's like weird in the sense that like I don't know, like I feel like once you're in the community, you're sort of just desensitized, so you don't find it weird. But when you step back, you're like, okay, I could see why.
That's part of the reason I don't bring it up, because I was talking to someone who was dating someone I worked with who just left, and they had seen Neon Genesis Evangelion, and they were like, oh, it's like kind of like weirdly sexual towards the 14-year-olds. Like, I thought it was kind of weird that the 14-year-olds were sexualized. And I'm like, okay, I think this is, like, I don't think it's like that weird, because like, I mean, I think it's Shinji's point of view. I don't think it goes too over the top, but I'm like, yeah, this might be like the normie line for people. Like, this might be the line. But
yeah, I mean, I think you could make the case. I don't want to make the case. You know what? I won't make the case.
I won't make the case.
Nah.
Just gonna retcon the case.
Nope, not doing it for you guys. Someone else can do it.
Yeah, so ContraPoints got in trouble for that. They were like, "Oh, why is this like the horniest 14-year-old when watching Ava?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, like
14-year-olds are horny. What can we say?
Like we're all like that's part of the realism for people." But I'm also, like.
Discovering puberty is a thing.
Yeah. And I realize how bad that says for me saying yeah man when ContraPoints is trans, and I didn't mean to call her man. I was just saying the phrase.
I didn't even catch that, so
I just realized like it could be interpreted poorly, so I wanted to clarify that because I love ContraPoints, and I definitely
think in those cases I could see why. Like some people could misconstrue it that way, but a lot of times when you say like, I don't know, I've said yeah guys to like a group of women, and then
I call so many groups of women guys, like hey guys, like to everyone. So like I'm in the same boat. I use
and it's
the
technically
phrase so much.
Not correct, but it's also like the other, like if to correct yourself feels more of an effort and more of a like
call out, like
it doesn't
to it.
That, and it doesn't sound as casual. It just because you're not used to saying it, so then it's like you might as well just say yeah guys, unless someone specifically says hey that makes me uncomfortable, or don't do that, then okay, that's fair.
And Amethyst, I would never give Yogitsu no Sora higher than Amagami. I would never, just to make sure that doesn't happen.
You did. I'm gonna
I said I never would. No. I didn't watch it, so just to make sure that doesn't happen, I won't.
We're gonna find the tea.
I said, have I read the Mortal Instruments? I don't think I have. I don't think I've read that. Oh, did they come out with a movie of that? Yeah, I don't think I read that. Does that mean there's incest in it? There must be incest in that, because that's like the relevant topic.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I have never... Wait. Oh, that got adapted into a TV show, didn't it? I think.
I think so.
I think it got it was like a TV show on Freeform or something.
Freeform, CW, gotta love it. I think of things as like, there is incest. It is weird. See, I'm like collecting all the incest series. I should do like an incest series and be like, which is the best incest series?
All right. I just confirmed Shaw did not watch Yosuga no Sora yet, but she did give Amagami, if I said it right, a 5.
Amagami, but close enough.
Amagami. Okay. You gave it a 5, so...
No, I gave it a 4.
I saw 5 on there.
Did I? I don't think... Did I?
Amagami SS?
Yeah.
I saw with a 5.
Gigak would be proud of this conversation. Should bring him back on. So, like, hey, we're talking about incest again.
Incest. All right, boys, let's go. Amethyst can sleep soundly now. Okay. Also, didn't Amethyst say she wasn't joining us? Thank you for making it.
Yeah, thank you for joining, because we did beat the people. Thought we were talking about fan service, and we baited them with more funds.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we could still talk about fan service. I mean, we're still not at that point.
We still got time.
We still got time. Guys, let us know in the chat if you want us to talk about fan service. If you want us to have the eternal debate of ass versus boobs, we can do that. We can make it a poll.
Speaking of ass, Tokyo Revengers Season 2 confirmed, apparently.
Just now?
No, it's by a, like, kind of reputable but not reputable source. Like, could go either way. But, like, I think it makes sense when you look at the sales. Like, it's only a matter of time. Because I think Tokyo Revengers was, like, the 3rd best-selling series this year.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, you know what's actually super interesting for me? I just discovered on Mal, again, I'm late to this, but when you go to top anime, you can filter it by most popular. So you see the stark difference between what's rated highly and is unpopular and what's popular. Even
it's kind of wild when you see what's up and like.
And then you notice like the patterns of like, okay, why does this work? Why is this popular, even though it's not like as well written, you know? And why is this something that is so well written not as popular? And it's really just more about stylistic things.
Yeah. It's interesting to see by stylistic, it's like Sword Art Online.
I mean, or like certain genre trappings that make it more universally accessible or appealing to people.
That's kind of wild. I knew that Steins Gate used to be in the top 10 on Mal, and now it is 13th, and Hunter x Hunter is ahead of it. And I remember I remember when Hunter x Hunter wasn't even in the top 30 of most popular. But this is back in like
you're talking about popular.
Yeah. This is back in the 2018 days, so that's kind of wild.
It is wild. Steins Gate's so low.
But yeah, I mean, 13 is still pretty high considering the type of series it is, but like, didn't see that coming at all. Yeah, it's just kind of wild to see. I don't know. But also, like, you know, Mal isn't the best indicator. Like, it's only a subset of like the community because like not everyone is on Mal.
But it's a good, I think, guideline. I think these are pretty true. Like, a lot of people love Death Note. Attack on Titan has reached such a widespread audience. Brotherhood as well. My Hero Academia, you hear about it every other day.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Angel Beats used to be in the top 5. Yeah, that's kind of wild to think. There's so many series that were in the like early 2000s and now we have like early 2010s that were like really popular staples of the community, and now they're just like nowhere to be seen. Yeah,
no, it makes sense. I think a lot of the tear-jerking the
tier bait shows.
I don't want to say that, but yeah, like I feel like they end up usually being really popular because they're easy to kind of get into. But not all of them have like a lasting impact. So that's why like they'll kind of, you know, the early 2000s ones will be just replaced with, you know, the other stuff that kind of comes out later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like if you look at Mal, Gundam won't seem that popular, but like everyone who watches Gundam, like how many people in the 80s, 90s, and like whenever, like Gundam is like huge.
Oh, by the way, guys, really quick question to chat. I was like writing down a list of Tomino works I definitely need to watch. I don't want to watch all of them, just sort of the essentials. And I got Gundam, Zeta Gundam, I think that's Double Zeta, and Char's Counterattack. Is there anything else that I need to like watch? That's like, you know, enough of an idea of his work as a director. Let me know. I'm just curious.
That's a good question. Turn A Gundam.
Oh, is that one? Huh.
I'm not sure if that was buy-in, but that makes sense.
I'll look it up. Let's see. Turn a Gundam.
No, RDA. No. No. No, it's not.
Can I read this? Can I do a reading of this?
Yeah.
Audrey A says, "Oh wait, I like your PFP. It's a Wotakoi, right? That's great.
Yeah.
I like Steins Gate, but that shit is sort of mid if you're thinking about it from a character standpoint. But from a world building standpoint, it's good.
The world building is like Japan, like Tokyo and Akihabara.
I don't even know. The great thing about Steins Gate, if you want to make that argument, is more of the time travel building. You know, like the logic is so good.
Yeah, and the characters are still good. Okabe top tier. Like, come on.
Okay, he is.
Come on.
I mean,
and Kurisu. Kurisu, Okabe, top tier.
I am not watching Garzy's Wing. No, thank you.
No. Yeah. Oh, so my friend, I don't know if I talked to you about this, but I thought it was kind of cool. They came up with a list of like anime auteurs that have like made tons of like people, like notable people in the industry who have made tons of cool stuff, and they have like an ongoing list. So it would be like Yamada, you know, Miyazaki, Satoshi Kon, like all of those guys, and then some writers. Like I'll get into that in a sec. But I took their list and I turned it into a spreadsheet for myself to see how much I've seen. And I think I realized that like I don't think I am a fan of Mario Okada. And I've seen people go like hard on her. Oblivion's in chat. Yeah, they made it. So thank you.
Okay.
I thought it was really cool. I'm gonna show you their tweet because I just think it's really cool.
Full disclosure. I'm a little bit embarrassed about this. Well, not really. I don't, you know.
What?
But the reason I mentioned the Gundam thing was because I spent last night finding that tweet because I had seen it before.
Let's go.
And then transcribing it into an Excel sheet
You too?
Yeah, and then I was adding stuff like because someone was like, "Oh, you got to include Tomino," and I'm like, "Fuck!" And then I'm like, "Okay, I'm adding Tomino," and I'm like, "Okay, but I want to see the essential works." So I was trying to figure out what those were.
That spurred this whole thing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it was such a good list because no one ever really lists like you always hear the auteurs mentioned, but like you never like kind of see it in one place. Like this is like if there's anyone you need to know, it's these guys.
Yeah,
and,
I can't believe. Look at that, Oblivion. You wrote the Just Weebs episode. You wrote our episode.
I did credit him in my own spreadsheet. So
You did?
I put stolen from.
So that's so nice. So you made a spreadsheet too? That's so funny. I love that. We both made a spreadsheet. Are you so proud?
Dude, after our roast streams, I've been on a spreadsheet kick. I've been making spreadsheets for everything.
Yeah, me too. I even color coded it based off like the ones I've seen. But I realized, especially since I recently finished The Woman Called Fujiko Mine, and I mostly really liked it, but like I had major beef with like the way the final arc like concluded, and I had like a moment where I checked the Mal page and I saw Mario Okada series composition, and I'm like no, not again.
So let's talk about that. Like really quick. Actually, before that, so the reason also I think I was compelled when I saw this is because I've been on a Miyazaki kick recently. I've been watching a lot of his works. I've seen like 4 movies in a row that I hadn't watched, and one was a rewatch. But like that's kind of gotten me in that mindset of like, oh, I wonder, kind of like digging into these directors and how they kind of like do their films. But in terms of Mario Okada, she's one of the ones that I was writing my spreadsheet and I was like trying to think to myself, I'm like, why is she so hit or miss with me? Like, some of her works are great, but then some like, I don't know, like what is it? And I was trying to remember what it is because I've never like sat down to analyze what it is about her works, but that's one of the things I caught myself thinking last night.
I think the thing after seeing a few of her series, like quite a few, I think I've figured it out. I think I have. I'm not sure though, because I'm in the same boat, but I'm
gonna pull up my spreadsheet too.
Yeah, pulling up our spreadsheets and like looking,
just referring to that.
Yeah. But I think the thing with Mario Okada is that she's very talented at crafting these like incredibly raw, authentic emotions that can be really complicated, and these like complicated dynamics with people in her stories. And I think she's really good at that, especially when like some of the real life experiences that were published in her own autobiography. So some of her own accounts of her real life, like she's been through a lot of very complicated feelings for like her parents and like, just been through a lot of shit. So I think she's great at crafting those situations, and I think she's really bad at resolving them. So like she'll come up with this like, oh, this is like a very complicated situation, and then it's like, okay, but like where do we go from there? And she's kind of like, I don't know, fam.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I'm still figuring this out, guys.
Yeah, it's like she doesn't know herself, so like there's no good like resolution for it, And I think that's what's tough.
Yeah, because like I don't know, I really enjoyed Nagiyasu or Nagiyasukara or that one, and I think that one was resolved, but it wasn't really like it didn't really delve too much into complicated feelings. I think it was very straightforward. It was mostly like a love triangle. That was kind of the most.
That was a love octagon.
Yeah,
you remember that shit? But yeah. I think that one was cool for the actual world building.
It looks so great.
It looks great. The world building's cool. But then I think at some point I'm like halfway through and I'm like,
the second half wasn't
care about these characters.
Post time skip second half wasn't as strong as the first half.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on it.
I think if they got into more of like the town dynamics on like the racism with the mer people and then not, that might have been a bit more interesting. But like I love mermaids, I love mer people, so I was down with it. But they still have weird shit like his older sister getting with like the dad of the kids she babysat. Like that's kind of weird. Like why? Like why is that a thing?
Sus. But like that was weird. I guess like the thing that kept me on the hook for most of it was like, oh, Manaka, he has to see her again. What happens when they reunite? And then they finally reunite, and then like she hasn't really aged, and then whatever, and like you finally get to see them. Right? She didn't age. That's what it was.
He didn't either.
He didn't either. No, but like mentally, she hadn't aged. There you go. I don't know. I guess it wasn't that much.
He didn't either. I think right because they were all asleep.
No, but they woke up first. That was the thing.
Yeah, but it's been like a couple months, I think.
No, I think it was like a year or two.
Was it a full year?
Oh, you know what? Maybe you're right. But whatever. The point is, when they finally got together, I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I just found myself checking out at that moment.
I didn't care about them. I cared about the side shit. But then at some point, I'm at the point where I'm like, stop having feelings for that guy who's like a kid now. But not just the kid aspect. I'm like, you were never going to be with the main character. Get with the like guy who's by your side. And I think she did. But I just get frustrated with love triangles in general, where I'm like, get over them and go to the better person, you know? I want to like coach them.
Yeah.
This is weird. He said, surprise, Jigen's gravestone remained so high despite the golden drill dick. That part was really weird. I think I just like mentally blocked that out. I think I should probably lower it when thinking about it and raise Goemon's blood trail.
It's funny how scores work. You know, you remember one detail that you're like, golden dick drill, that's enough to.
That was like really bad. And I'm like, you know.
So that's like a Lupin, just so I'm in the loop. It's
Lupin loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cute. Yeah, so there's like this trilogy of like Lupin standalone films that are essentially just like 2 episodes put together, and they're focused on like his crew. So it's Jigen's gravestone, Goemon's blood trail, and then Fujiko's lie. And I have to say, Goemon's blood trail is one of the hardest hitting titles I've heard. Like, that's some hard shit. Like,
it does sound hard.
I wouldn't recommend them as starting points, but like, as soon as you understand the group dynamic, you can pretty much watch them whenever. They're like an hour tops. So they're really good.
I was so glad that I was looking at this auteur project list, and then there was like a section saying no Lupin. And I was like, yes, okay, cool. I don't have to deal with it. I didn't want to commit.
But then you see it's in Miyazaki under Castle of...
No, that's fine. I was planning to watch that, but not the rest of it.
That's a good starting point, and then you can essentially go to part 4, which is Lupin 2015, and then which is part 4, and that's like 24 episodes, and then you're pretty much good.
Yeah, I feel like back to Mari Okada.
Back to Mari Okada.
I see someone mentioned in the chat. I feel like one of her more, from what I remember, it was a while ago. One of her more complete feeling works was Toradora in terms of what it wanted to do. One of her most disappointing works to me was O Maidens in Your Savage Season, because that's a good example of complicated emotions she tapped into but didn't really do anything with, resolved much with. And I actually just realized she also did a Whisker Away, which I mentioned that I did watch. That was pretty straightforward. I don't know. The main girl was a little bit annoying, but yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, you think of and Toradora, she didn't like she did like series composition, but there's like a source material for that. So like I wonder how much of that is her versus like what she's translating. I don't know.
Is she the writer or director for these? Or is she just
she does series composition, so like I guess she's the main writer. I guess that's it. Like I guess she's the main writer.
Yeah, I came across that because like for example with when I was looking through the list, and I acknowledge this probably isn't a perfect list. It's just sort of just kind of getting the ballpark, and you kind of, it's up to you to refine it how you want it. But one of them was, there you go, Mamoru Oshii.
Yeah.
Like Standalone Complex was on here, but then when I looked it up, because I'm like, I don't think he directed that. And then I looked up and his involvement was only series composition. So then I was deciding like, should I take it out? Like, because
you would probably watch it anyway. So like, might as well leave it in, but like not credit him for it, I guess. I don't know.
Because it was only the second season. It was only the second season of Standalone Complex, and he was only series composition. Someone else did the script, so I was like, oh, all right.
What can you do then?
Yeah.
But yeah, like O Maidens is like had that really weird thing with like the student and the teacher, and like, but like there was no like resolution. They just like really ended it, and they're like, yeah, it just be like that, and it's like really weird. Like, you remember that one?
Which no, I remember the show,
Maidens,
but like, yeah.
But the girl and the teacher.
Oh no, that was weird.
Did you have is it like the golden dick moment where it comes back to you and you're like,
Yeah. No, I remember being like uncomfortable with that. Like it was happening and I was like, oh no. I don't think it's going this way.
And here's the thing is like, if they're gonna actually explore that, I'm not against them exploring like this girl having like weird feelings for her teacher, but like there's no sense of like emotional resolution on either part. Because like, yeah, it's kind of creepy that he was like half involved and half not like he was half kind of like, what are you doing? And then half like kind of interested, but like not. And that's really creepy on his part. But it's like, how about like her emotional journey? Does she get to the point where she's like, yeah, maybe I should like not actively try to have sex with my teacher. Like maybe that should be the end result.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get like, oh yeah, that's it. You know?
It didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. The answer was pretty much I have to, where'd my mouse go? The answer was pretty much, my dick isn't hard, sorry. So like, yeah, I guess he's not like a predator, but like also, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they want to do with that.
Yeah, it's just weird because it didn't have a resolution. It didn't really like, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, what was the point of this subplot or this sub arc?
Yeah, so Amethyst said, Maiden said like one good ship. It probably means that side ship that was not involved in a love triangle or sussery.
Which one was that? I really don't remember this show. I can remember
like
parts.
This side girl who was like really nerdy and like.
Oh yeah, that one. That was pure.
Yeah,
that was great.
That was cute.
Yeah.
And two things to highlight. One we want to go back to, but Tom says I think she just mainly struggles to find resolutions to great questions she puts forth, and that's exactly what I mean. Where it's like,
can we screenshot that?
Yeah, this is it. This is
this
Mario
is it.
Okada
in a nutshell.
Mario Okada in a nutshell. And then something Drax said is the problem with love triangles is very few of them are actually well written, and I agree. Like, give me a harem over a love triangle any day because love triangles take themselves too seriously, and unless your love triangle is inherently toxic, I don't take it seriously. Like, I'm thinking
love
like
triangles suck.
Berserk, Rakugo, good love triangles. Like, that's kind of it.
Yeah, that one's so complicated that you're not even focusing on the love part. You're just focusing on like the fucked upness of it all.
Yeah, and Berserk is like a true love triangle.
Yeah.
Like,
between
true, like people actually love each other and then it all falls apart.
Yeah, it's like a human love that is borders on romantic
or obsession.
They're not even, or obsession, and they can't even admit it to themselves. And
yeah,
so, I don't know, because most of the love triangles, I think what's badly written about them is that normally they boil down to like juvenile like antics and like, oh no, like, jealousy and which are human emotions, but the way it's written isn't really compelling. It's more of the standard stuff you always see, and it just ends up being more grating than actually like, okay, I want to watch this. It's like more of we're checking a box.
You know what the real problem is with some of them? Because you're totally right that that's like a true like element that we find. I think the biggest problem is that they remain friends after they don't win in the love triangle. And that is the biggest bunch of shit I've seen. Like, if you lose in a love triangle, you are not friends with them anymore. You hate them, you need space, and you just get the fuck away from them. And too many love triangles in anime romanticize the idea of like,
I'm just going to stand by and let you guys,
Yeah, like honorably taking the L and letting your friends be happy. And that doesn't happen in real life. If you're like actually friends with the other person and you're actively romantically interested in one and you don't win, you're like, I'm out. Like, fuck them.
I don't know why I had this connection in my brain. It's probably so like, I don't know. It probably doesn't apply at all, but I just remember seeing this tweet of like Spider-Man 3 or something about like, I think it was like Harry like slapping the shit out of Peter Parker like twice. And then like someone retweeted that saying like, or quote tweeted saying like, if that was me, he would have known I was Spider-Man that day. Because in real life, slap me twice. Like,
yeah, I love that. Like, nah, it's Spider-Man time. That's a great tweet. I love that.
It's so good. You would have known I was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
what
I'm trying to think of what is a good love triangle, but not like in the Berserk, like in the more of in a rom-com setting. Like, has there ever been a good love triangle?
Well, Rakugo is a more grounded setting, and I think they handle love triangle quite well.
That's on my plan to watch. I added that here. So I haven't watched it.
But that's also, like, you'll see with that, they're adults, but, like, it's not exactly a rom-com, definitely more of a drama. But I'm trying to think. I think a lot of people would say, I'm just reading this, Hanekawa was friends with Hitagi, though that situation is different and not really a proper love triangle. I wasn't even thinking of Monogatari. I think of that as a harem. I know some people don't want to, but like, I think it's a harem.
Everyone wants Araragi,
Yeah, like.
But I think the case could be made there that I don't know, it's kind of tough. Like the two leading ones were kind of Hanekawa and Hitagi. But then again, Shinobu also was very prominent.
Mm-hmm. And like Nadiko,
Oh yeah.
you know.
But
I
then you
think
find out she wasn't really like
Rose. I think that one's on me. Nadiko as well, but like
she wasn't really in love. I think she was playing a part, sort of.
Yeah, but like it's like still like what counts, even though it's not like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it still counts in the harem thing. Yeah,
I think.
She was just confused.
Yeah.
I think we're losing Shaw.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my way back to the internet. Sorry. Let me see.
School Rumble has a pretty decent love triangle, but it's played for gags more often. I remember watching School Rumble, and I remember really enjoying it, but I don't remember anything that happened in it. But I do remember the love triangle being fun. Unfortunately, I took it seriously. That was the problem. Tom says, staying friends after losing out in a love triangle is super idealistic. See a lot of people try and do it with little success. Weirdy clarifies it's not School Rumble isn't even a triangle. It's like an octagon made of triangles. That's
kind of interesting.
That's complicated. Oh, we got some Nadoko hate in the chat. Oh, and Shaw is officially gone from the podcast. She has left us, guys. Only half of Jess Weebs is fully functioning. Are we looking for a replacement? Oh, she's back. All right, never mind.
It works. So, yeah, sorry about that. I was hearing everything, but I couldn't speak. Must have been the God of Love Triangles on my ass, but sorry about that.
Yeah, they didn't like us talking about them like that. Trying to cancel us.
Yeah, so Chihaya Furu I think is like a popular choice, but like it doesn't make me hate the cast, but I do think the way the love triangle is utilized is like very much I don't know. I think it's one of the weak parts of the series.
Still haven't watched it, but it is on my list because I think it was part of one of these directors.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I asked Oblivion to add it to the list.
Good going.
They also, yay, because they also did like Card Capture Sakura. They did Nana, so it's like
nice. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's all the like shoujo yosei of.
As soon as I saw Nana, I'm like, I'm in. They captured it.
Yumi Neko technically has one, but like, kind of different. Not in your face about it. Yeah, some Josh is like, people are mentioning that Macross has one, but like I have to see Macross. Guys, where do I start with Macross? I wanted to watch it.
All right, so let's start the Macross conversation.
Oh no.
Okay, so with Macross, right? You got to start off with Harmony Gold's Robotech. Okay, that is the quintessence. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Let's start with Robotech.
Like,
people will murder me.
That's so funny.
No, with Macross, it's kind of tough. You don't really have to start from the beginning unless you really want to get into like the show from back then. I didn't watch the original. I actually didn't even watch the newer Macross. I only watched I watched Macross Delta, which was like, I think the last of the modern Macross shows. And most people, I think, didn't like it. But the original, I think, is from the 80s. I think there's Macross and Macross Plus and Macross 7.
Okay. I just want to watch the Do You Remember Love movie.
Yeah, I think that's part of that canon.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You'd have to watch the 80s Macross. I wanted to get into it at one point. I think it was like 50 episodes total. So I just never.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah. People can correct me on that.
Yeah. They're like, when your answer is like, how do I watch Macross? And they're like, just literally watch like all of it. And just it's like
all of it.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, I have to watch all of it. Like, what do you mean? Gintama Love Triangle. Yeah. Like Gintama is one of those series that handles romance really well, but it's never like a major focus. So, because I know Srirachi, the mangaka, is like, I don't like writing romance, but he does a good job with it. So,
all right, I have something to admit here. I will watch a whole show if there is like a romance, and I kind of want to see where it ends up. So that'll just like
that's what
keep
I
me
did.
Going. So
That's
there
what
you go. Gintama. That's it. I'm in.
Did I tell you the 3 things that made me start Gintama was the opening that I love so much for it, the possibility of Gintoki and Tsukio getting together, and then just finding out Gintoki's character. Like,
Yeah.
that was it. So
So Tsukio with and then Gintoki's character just being awesome.
just Gintoki in general, but like him and then Suki and then yeah, because they call her Suki too. But her full name is Tsukio.
I'm interested to see who will be my favorite character, because I see you always talk about the favorite characters.
I think it'll be Gintoki.
Nah,
Chat
we'll
weigh in. Because you're an
Probably.
MC merchant. You like main characters,
Oh,
especially if
yeah.
they're good. And like literally, like not literally. I'd say there's a good 80% of people who have Gintoki as their favorite. I'm
MC
just weird for
Merchant
not.
sounds like. Oh wait, sorry. Finish your thought.
That was
I
it.
wanted.
No, you're good.
You were just You said you were just weird for something.
Because I have a few above him, but like he's still like a top 25 character for me. Like me putting him like not number 1 is not like a slay on by any means. But I have
MC
a few above him.
Merchant sounds so shady. Like it sounds like such a like you're in an alleyway and you're just dealing MCs. You're just like, here you go.
Yeah, but like it's so
just
funny when
sounds
you
sus.
use merchant, like you're dealing MCs. I've not seen Skate Dance. I say it wrong all the time.
I have
Skate
not
Dance.
seen that either. I always hear it.
I got to see that. They did a crossover episode and it was kind of funny.
Weirdy had said earlier in the chat, Macross Delta was the latest. Thank you for confirming, and I loved it. I actually loved it too, but I know it's not like I don't think it's well written, but it's so fun to watch, and the songs are so great. So
I gotta check it out.
Any sequels I'll check out.
Someone say Nakamura. He said the word. Let's go. So that's exciting.
Oh.
OP13.
Yeah, because Macross Frontier is like the better one.
Okay, and it has Yuichi Nakamura, so we're good. So I'm gonna call you a pro tag peddler instead of MC Merchant. How does that feel? I love that one.
That sounds good, but
That
bad
sounds
at
good.
the same time. That sounds like way worse.
That sounds good. Well, did you see the Jose Tiger and the Fish?
No, I did not.
I have it downloaded. That's on deck.
We got to do this Just Weebs like group watch, like with a reaction like camera, and just like we should do it, and then we like
I
cut
feel
it
like
together.
I'm gonna make so many weird faces, and they'll have nothing to do with the movie.
We'll cut those out.
Yeah.
Cut those out. If it doesn't work, just out.
Like
We'll do
just
like
falling asleep, like mid-movie.
We'll do like a highlight reel of the reactions, right? And then like we play that at the beginning of the pod. Like, all right, this is like the montage, the training montage for this pod. Boom, us reacting, and then we just discuss it.
That would be great. Wait,
Live.
this is like that would be perfect. This is good from Tom. Recently finished Gintama. Kagura is my favorite, then Suki, then Gintoki. That is a unique list. I respect that. But this is also a good question. Who are Oni's favorite MCs? My logic is if he is a big fan of those MCs, the ones he like the most must stand out in some way. So that's the Onimaru question arc. Since we had my question section, this can be yours.
Yeah, I like really bombastic main characters, such as the likes of Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion and Mob from Mob Psycho 100. Totally just in your face,
Deku,
like spotlight stealing characters. Deku, yeah, all of them.
I like the Chads, like Deku, Shinji, and Mob.
Absolute Chads, protagonists of their own life. Good shit. I'm trying to think, like besides, I do love them, but I'm trying to think if there's actually any main characters. I mean, I like Ryuko from Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think.
We need the Onimaru core favorites. Have you seen that trend?
No, I actually haven't gotten around to doing that. Like I find that so interesting, like sitting down and like trying to like figure out, okay, like what do I like? Like one interesting question I came across recently, and I do not have an answer to this, so I'm pulling a Mario Okada here. So I'm just putting it out there for you guys to help me disseminate this. But like I saw, like, I think Replay Value tweeted this, and shout out to Replay Value, friend of the pod. He noticed, he had an observation that he had a different anime taste than his manga taste. Like, he'll be more open to reading certain things in manga that he doesn't enjoy in anime. And I'm like, do I have that? Do I have a separate manga anime taste? Like, that's interesting. Like, chat, do you guys have that? Have you pinpointed like that you have a different taste? What about you, Shaw?
I think I might. I have to read more manga, like as a standalone, to see. I gotta see more manga just on their own, but like, I'm pretty chill with like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it really depends. I'm not sure though.
I've
I've
watched.
noticed it from films to TV series though. I've noticed that.
I'll watch. I think I'm not sure if I'm 100% right about this, but I think I've read more shoujo manga than watched shoujo anime.
I think that ends up happening where like a lot of the I think shoujo manga might be a bit better. Oh, I have noticed it. I've noticed it with a lot of like comedy adaptations. I think comedy manga works.
The pacing,
Comedy
right? It's
can work
all about
as, yeah, like the way they work, I don't know, like the way they frame it and the timing of jokes works a bit better in manga, and sometimes that falls flat in anime. Like Wodakoi, Grand Blue, both of those as like manga work a lot better than the anime adaptations. I don't know, but that might just be a few of them. But like I think shoujo manga don't get like the same level of adaptations as a lot of like shonen and like battle shonen. So I feel like I could see them not doing them justice.
So you're saying Grand Blue works better as a manga?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I gotta get onto that.
Because they also do like one of the big things with Grand Blue that like feeds into the comedy is like the art is like a lot more detailed. So they'll have like a lot of those scenes where it's like the main character sees boobs and they'll draw like the most detailed face, and like that's part of the joke.
I have to say, one that did that really well was Prison School.
Yeah, I read it's kind of like Prison School.
I read the manga afterward, and the art does exactly that. Like really detailed art, like heavily shaded, but it makes it hilarious. But the anime captured that really well. So
and if they did that, it would have worked. But like, you know how they didn't really do that as much.
I just want to go back, scroll up. I did see a comment from a Weirdy here. Because we were talking about reacting. He's like, don't do a Toei reacts if you want to save your channel. All right, so I wasn't going to talk about this, but I actually have some beef with Toei.
Oh, okay. What's the tea?
They took okay. I need to get this out.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't give me 150 copyright strikes. Like,
shout out to Totally Not Mark.
Totally Not Mark. That was totally not cool.
Our thoughts are with you.
And I'm not trying to take the piss out of it. It just really sucked that happened. But I can relate. Like, something on that scale obviously did not happen to me this year, but it was my first year dealing with a Toei copyright strike when I made my World Trigger video. And it was like a month later. Yeah. And I was so upset because I'm like, I am like pitching your like most underrated show, telling people to watch it, and you're just like taking down my video. It's like I'm saying good things, and it's like it's not killing your promotion or advertising. And it's like it didn't happen once, it happened twice.
That's like, awful.
It just sucked.
Toei.
Yeah.
Boycott Toei.
And then I found that afterward, it was like you just gotta avoid Toei properties, and it's like that's just sad that's kind of what you have to do, but.
Yeah, it's so wild. I mean, like, for people who aren't in the loop, I'm sure they are. I mean, it's gotten to, like, beyond the anime community, but, like, Totally Not Mark, guy who does a lot of reviews for, like, Dragon Ball, One Piece. More recently, I think he did a Hunter x Hunter and Berserk one, and he's been doing the Spider-Man movies, so he does a lot of stuff, but I think the majority of his content is Dragon Ball and One Piece related. He got 150 copyright claims. No, 155 copyright claims on his film on I think a lot of his Dragon Ball stuff, got them all taken down. And the way he put it is it's like that's like 3 years worth of work just like gone. And you know, he's been trying to get them back, and like a lot of good advocates going on, like the whole community supports him. But he came out with a video today. I think it's like he's kind of like backing down from the fight. He's not really like, he's not going to try and reason with Toei. He's not going to try and like seek communication with them after he put out his second video, and he's just not making videos for the rest of the year. And some people have speculated it might be a cease and desist because he said boycott Toei, or it might just be like his mental health is taking too much of a drain, so he's just kind of stepping back.
And he did. I saw that video. It was like an all black, like no clips at all. It was just audio. But he did say in the comments, like, no, guys, this is legit. They didn't put me up. YouTube or Toei didn't put me up to this. He pinned the comment. But because before I watched it, I saw like I think Maz like tweeted like, yo, did Toei like put a hit on him or something?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And so like watching the video, I'm like, oh, they put a hit on him.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because it came across, because he said like, don't boycott Toei. So I'm like, okay, like maybe this is like, they sent a cease and desist, but like, I mean, whatever makes him feel the best and what works for him, totally respect it. But I think that's just such an awful situation to be put in, especially around Christmas. Like, just brutal.
Two things I gotta say, because one, Weirdy here mentions Gintama, and I do have to say that I've always found that fucking clip funny where Gintoki just starts doing a Kamehameha. One, I'm like, how are they getting away with this copyright wise?
Yeah. And they made fun of that, like
it's
the
funny.
copyright ninjas.
Yeah. Oh, and the second thing I was gonna say was, the thing I've always found this, it always like this scene stayed with me with I think it was from, you ever watched Dexter's Laboratory growing up?
Yeah.
Remember the side, like the little insert show that was like the Justice Friends or something like that?
Yeah.
And then I think it was that episode or something with that, and they were like, I think they were taking, was it Dexter or something? They were saying like, now we're gonna go see someone much more powerful than I, my attorney.
That's so true.
That's just like that's pretty much what it always comes down to. Copyright, legal stuff. Can't escape it.
It's so wild. I mean, I think copyright law was originally created to protect like smaller artists from having their work ripped off, and now it's just like abused by giant corporations where like if they sniff anything close to that, they're like, get them. So misused, so bad. Speaking of, apparently the Koiso Giga podcast, I forgot it's Toei. I have like clips on loop for it. So if that one goes away, like you guys know.
I mean, I think the only solution at that point is just to not do, I don't know. I was gonna say not do clips, but then Mark himself, this is the mind-boggling part, said he had videos with drawings.
Yeah, like he
like
drew
his own
them.
drawings. And it's like, come on, man.
That's just like wild. I feel so bad for him. I hope he comes back and like, you know, it sounded like he was kind of working himself really hard anyway. Hopefully he comes back like refreshed with the new year and like continues to do what he loves and talks about other series that won't copyright him out the ass for fair use.
The one thing I did find funny, I saw it in a thread in response to this, was like the contradictoriness of Toei is like, one time, like I think they uploaded all this stuff to their official Toei channel, like on YouTube, and within the hour, Toei themselves copyrighted the channel. It was taken down.
They're like, oh wait, we forgot. Yeah, wait.
It's like
that's like the.
It's like if I put up stuff and then Shaw just goes ahead and copyrights the whole channel and takes it down.
Like nope,
can't go up. Just Weebs is canceled itself.
Copyright Just Weebs itself. Oh my god.
Speaking of Just Weebs, I did come up with a name for our fan base.
Weebs?
No, that's too easy. that doesn't like kind of you know.
That doesn't inspire.
Apart. Yeah. I mean, actually the name I came up with, I don't think it inspires either though.
What is it?
The Truck Cult.
The Truckies?
Maybe
just truck.
But that sounds like Trekkies.
Yeah,
like
that's true. Copyright claim our nickname.
There you go.
Because I was thinking of
or the Truck Association. You're like, Sean's just like, that's worse.
I'm trying to think if that's the reference in like Shiki when they have the truck people who are driving around and like moving everyone.
I
was trying to think of that. I was like, wait a minute. Bro Takus, that's kind of dope.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we could just do Road Rollers. We're the Road Rollers.
The Road Rollers would be funny. Because I was thinking about our inevitable year-end video on like the year-end awards. Calling them the Weebies sounds really funny to me. But I don't know if that's like our go-to name.
Weebdom. The Weebery.
Truck-coons. The Truck-coons. That's funny.
I guess so. The Weebies. I mean, we could call the awards the Weebies. I'm fine with that.
That's what I was thinking for the awards. Not the like fans, just the awards.
Yeah.
The Weebies awards. And the Weebie goes to.
We got to talk about that one. Yeah, because we got to think of like if we want to do categories or if we want to just do straight up, let's just rank like what was best this year.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Get like a fake award.
For my personal that's funny. The Riabos. Riabos.
Rios. I read that as like like the JoJo noise.
The one I did for my, I guess, parody of an award show I did once was I gave them the golden Rem. So I just had a Rem figurine just colored in gold.
I know that Jack does that, the Golden Saber, the Under the Scope Awards. Do you watch those? I love those.
I think I've only caught like a bit of it a few times. Really immaculately well produced.
It's so well done. And then you'll get to like, I remember it was last year. I think he ended up giving out an award to Origairu Season 3. And I know that like Origairu Season 3, even amongst its own fans, was like torn apart. Like they didn't
Fans divided.
Yeah, the fans didn't like it. So I got to that and I was like, this is the Gianni bias. Like I know that like this should not be getting awards, but like Gianni influence too strong.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I don't know my feelings on it. You know, I was okay with it, I guess. But see, the thing is, I don't feel like I have enough of an opinion on it because I did not remember season 1 and 2. I just sort of was should I refresh? Nah, we'll be fine. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell.
Do you like Hachiman as an MC?
Hachiman, 8-man.
8-man, the Batman.
Yeah, I think he's cool.
Okay, but you don't feel like strongly about him.
No, but that's probably because I didn't remember the previous seasons too much. And I do think he did resonate more with other people than I did. So
you're like pleading the fifth on that.
Yeah, you're not giving a solid answer.
That's fair.
Anymore.
I didn't remember the first seasons. That's fair. Yeah, so very highlight Violet Evergarden bias on that show. Yeah, the KyoAni fans, I mean, that's also been a Jack special for a while, so that's understandable. And I'm excited to see your end of year awards, Amethyst. You always have unique picks. I'm excited to see because I don't know what your anime of the year is, so that'll be exciting.
Actually, I think what we should do, and tell me what you think, oh, go ahead.
No, you finish.
I was just going to say, maybe we can have our viewers submit to us their top 5 anime of the year. Just make it simple. Only a top 5 in whatever order. Just they submit it to us, and then we'll use that to form the basis of what we're going to include into the awards, and then we'll reveal our Just Weebs Core order.
Do we?
We have to hash it out.
Hash it. We have to like determine.
No own lists. We got to hash it out.
Do we have everyone vote on everything? So we come up with the nominees ahead of time, and then everyone. Everyone votes, just ripping off like Crunchyroll and.
Totally.
Everything.
I was thinking we could do that, or did you want to do? And this might be more complicated to do more like that. I think I didn't get to do that trend, but I think you did it. It got to go. That was going around about the anime meme, but different, and you had it in like different categories of like personal impact. Best anime of all time.
No, why does my internet keep cutting out? It's not
most
fair.
Depressing, stuff like that. But only for 2021.
Like most depressing, or like each category.
No, but like what I mean is like the idea is just separate categories, so you do get to mention almost every single anime, but then they just have their own category about how you felt about it that year.
I think I've done one similar, but I haven't seen the most recent one. I think.
Gotcha.
I gotta see. If you have the example, let me know. But I'd be down for that.
Yeah. That's I mean, I could link it to you. I'll link it to you afterward. Yeah.
Yeah. That should be interesting. I'm just reading. Audrey A said, "Is it possible to be on the podcast?" So we've been kind of like, it depends on like the guests we have. So like if we want people to like submit an application to be a guest, we'll let you know. But for now, we're just gonna take it on a case by case basis. So it depends on the topic.
What I've actually been interested in doing, so people don't feel like committed, like to, have to be on and like be a guest for a whole pod, was like more of like a voicemail function where like you can record a video or record a segment and just like submit it to us. Whether even it's like a question, like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And then that way you get to be on, and then we'll just kind of answer or like reply to that. I thought that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. That way there's less coordination and it's a little more straightforward. Question for the chat. Award show, do you think it should be the end of the year?
Yeah.
Or the beginning of next year?
This is an important question.
That is an important question because it determines our fates. and how much time we have to actually enjoy our Cobra Kai season 4 when it drops on December 31st.
Yeah.
That is not self-serving at all. It's just, it needs to be done.
Yeah, let us know what timing works best for you, because I know a lot of the awards stuff starts like beginning of next year. That's when you start getting like the Crunchyroll awards. I know the R Anime awards will happen around then. Maybe we'll get to read a category for that. Maybe it will be chosen, the Just Weebs for our Anime Awards.
I hope so.
Would you be honored to come on and announce a category?
I'd be so honored. It's such a, I think, isn't that the better awards show?
It depends on who wins.
It changes everything.
Yeah, because like one time, I think like my favorite one, I think I had more favorites win at Crunchyroll than the our anime one. And I was it's like, bye.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm hearing, we did mention the UTS Awards.
We did.
Earlier.
We gave them a shout out. Love the UTS Awards.
Yeah, people are mentioning in the chat early next year, mainly. I did see one end of the year. Yeah,
I think that works.
Most things are finishing. I need Shaw to catch up to Mushoku Tensei season 2,
Yeah, I do. I was saving everything to the end on purpose because I know I don't want to watch things weekly, especially if they're very plot heavy.
I'm getting that same way, actually. So I have a few from this season, a few from last season that
we got to see Sunny Boy.
That's on my list. I got to see Maid Dragon season 2.
You do. That was really good. I
got to finish. Oh, good.
I was going to say that's one you probably could have done week to week, but I did not. So like, what do I know?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, I think the binge is always the better experience unless you want it to be active in the conversation, because that's one thing I'm hearing now, the murmurs or the grunts of not being able to experience JoJo Part 6 weekly. Which has killed the hype. So
I think it does, but like, I think it'll come back. It's just such a weird release schedule,
Yeah. Because it's hard, because like that's what I've noticed mainly in terms of conversation. And this is with friends and people I've come across. When it comes to binging shows, like you could tell a friend for like months, like, yo, you got to watch the show. You got to check it out. Please watch it. And then they watch it. And then you're like, hey, you watched it? It was good, right? It was good. Conversation's done. Because it's
exactly. Because you're like,
it was so much that they absorbed in that moment, and you don't know, like, you don't have the examples. You don't have it fresh in your head to kind of go through it or parse through it, that it's sort of just hard to pinpoint one thing besides them. You watched it. It was good. That was it. Yeah.
And JoJo works so well on like a weekly discussion point for like the memes, the over the topness, and for like people to speculate what happens, because like no one knows what's gonna happen.
This season's wild. Because of the manga, but it's
I've forgotten a lot because I read it right after. I essentially read it the year that Part 4 came out, because I read 5 and 6 back to back. So
okay,
it's been a couple years. I don't remember truly how crazy it is, but I'm excited.
Because I'm like watching it and I'm like, is it me, or is this JoJo like a little crazier than normal JoJo standards? And then I'm like, no, maybe that's just how it's always been, And then it gets to certain episodes, I'm like, no, I think this is a new, a new threshold.
Yeah, I've seen it be called the most bizarre JoJo, but it also takes place in Florida. So what else would they do?
Exactly. I'm gonna be there next week, actually. So.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and heads up, spoiler, no pod next Sunday. Yeah, that's when I'm traveling. So we'll have to figure out if we're moving things around or skipping. We'll see.
We'll find out, because then I'm not going to be here. Well, yeah, I'll be here the next Sunday, and then I'll actually be fine, because I'm going to Canada the last week of the month. So
nice. Oh, we're gonna have to figure that one out. Yeah, end of the year holiday plans are tricky.
But I won't. I'll be here on all the Sundays, so we're good.
Oh, okay. That works out.
So I'm actually good.
But I'm not here next Sunday. So next Sunday. Cool. And the Sunday after that, I'm back. But I'm back in the morning. I guess I should be good.
If you don't have to. It could be our holiday break.
But I want to. I don't need a break. We're just workaholics.
We're just rise and grind.
Listen, that's really the point of the stream. It's about drive. It's about power. And let's be honest, it's about plot. It's about Florida. We got to keep the plot going. We've been doing that successfully this whole episode.
It's probably a little low key for Florida standards. Yes, I am Amethyst. I feel bad. It's very. I think it's the other side. I'm not sure. I forget where in Canada you are, but I think it's I I'm going to be in Vancouver, so I don't think that's close by. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
nice. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, it's
Vancouver.
really cool. I've been there once when I was like 10 because my grandparents live there, but they normally come in. But I'm excited. It should be nice.
I
in
mean, the
theory.
reason I always wanted to go is when I found out like all the anime dubbing was there, and that was like when I was a kid.
Oh,
and
it
I was like,
is?
oh
Oh.
shit, I need to go to Vancouver. No, I've only been to Montreal. That's it.
Oh, I'm sure that's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, but I've always wanted to go to like either Vancouver or Toronto.
Vancouver, from my 10-year-old memory, was a lot of Chinese food. I don't know if that's accurate, but I think
No, I heard there's a high Chinese population in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So
because I loved it as a kid. I'm like, there's so much good Chinese food.
it's great.
Hopefully I get to see that again.
Now, was it American Chinese food, like Americanized Chinese food, or was it authentic Chinese food?
I don't know. I probably had American.
I'm pretty sure probably had a mix.
I'm gonna track down the authentic Chinese food. Okay, that's good to know, Amethyst. Fingers crossed for my weather. I was looking up because another part of my spreadsheet is the plan to watch list for what I have to catch up on for this year. And
Yeah,
I was like,
that's exactly the section I'm looking at. I have
you have
that.
one too?
Yes.
Did we do
So-
the spreadsheet?
So what I
stream at
did
some
was
part where we go through our
I did the I don't know. I'm getting so into this spreadsheet thing. Like it's so good. Like I just said fuck Google Docs, just spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So I did like the auteur project thing. I filled that out, added a few things, and then underneath I put still stuff I need to watch from this year. Then under that I put old anime that are older but I still need to watch. That included Ping Pong, Tatami Galaxy, my 2 contract anime with replay value, and a few other things that piqued my interest. And then under that I said fuck it, and I threw in manga. Then below that I threw in manhwa.
Oh my
and
god,
that was it.
that's so funny.
And that was it.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, mine end up in a similar spot. I like color coded mine. Like it got bad. Like
Oh no, mine is not at that level. It is extremely just the basic template. It's just, filled out. That's it.
I did one because I have like what I finished for 2021. Then I have the watching section, and then there's like the airing is in green and the finished already, but I still have to watch it. Like it just finished airing is yellow. And then I have another plan to watch shows that I haven't touched yet, and I color coded them by season. So it's not even consistent within itself.
Here's the thing.
It's so bad.
The reason I probably didn't even want to do that, because then that's more upkeep. And that's like, and then it's like, go ahead.
That's the thing. I like making spreadsheets. I don't like maintaining spreadsheets.
I think I heard you say that, but I think, because I think I know my weakness here, and I just need something that I know that is understandable enough that I know, okay, this is here, this is here, this is here, but it's not a bitch and a half to like update. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I could just delete and like it's like a method to my own madness. It's like it's not an organized desk, but I know where everything is.
Yeah.
Like it's here, it's there, it's there.
That's
But
exactly.
Yeah. But like if I was sharing this doc with you, yeah, I'd color code it, because then I've kind of learned when you're working with someone else, they don't know the method to your madness, and it's just not conducive. So like, okay, color code it. I'm giving you free reign to not color code, Shaw. Stop
But
doing
I like
it.
it sometimes.
No,
I like
no.
color coding.
Graphic design is not your passion.
It's no, it should be. I should do it. But I have another spreadsheet that's just like my like ranked anime list, and I color code that, but that's a bit more with purpose. Because I added because I have my like big list, like the big anime list, and that one I added colors for shows that have changed like their placement or they're new to the list.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
And then
because it's more important. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have the basic colors for like scores. So like darker green is 10, and then it gets lighter, and then like 8s become blue. I don't know if that makes sense, but
So from cool colors to cool colors.
yeah, it's like I'm like I still like this color, but I feel like the darkest green should be like, yes, this is good.
Do you wow, I lost my train of thought. Oh no, actually I just remembered. I realized we did not do that spreadsheet for our roast. The one guy that submitted a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, saying.
Yeah.
We should have roasted them for having a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that one, and I completely forgot till afterward. I was like, oh shit.
We can go back. We can just bully them on another stream and just be like,
we should do that.
Yeah.
People that are on, did you guys enjoy the roast? Did you watch all of the roast? Did you only tune in for one? I'm genuinely curious. Let us know.
Did you guys enjoy us roasting profiles that were not your own profile?
Yeah, like roast us for that. Like if you didn't like it, tell us now. Roast us, because we'll never do it again. It'll just traumatize us, and just we'll never be compelled to do it.
Well, we'd probably just pull from like the old one, the old list of people.
Yeah, probably. Audrey A says, Onimaru, since you're going to Florida, be prepared for people wearing a sweater and a jacket at 60 degrees. I've been to Florida before, but I've actually been to Seattle, and people on the West Coast, like, they see a drop of snow, they just panic.
It's kind of wild, especially in Seattle, because they should
they cancel everything.
Cancel plans, cancel.
Yeah, weather. Like flights get canceled. It's crazy.
Yeah. Weird you said that some, referring to the roast stream, some like the Shoku Tensei equals Legend of the Galactic Heroes equals 0.5 were hilarious. Yeah, I think that was a really funny case.
That was funny. We had some funny moments. We're getting a roast in the chat here. I watched a few of the roasts, and I think you guys were too nice.
I'm going to quote you guys. If people come for us and get sad, I'm going to quote you guys. Because... Oh, let me go back to Tom. Said the same thing. Because, thank you, Tom. You're a ride or die. To be honest, you could have been meaner. Go off on the really gross shit. That's so we have everyone's profile, everyone's permission to be really mean. I don't know. I think we went hard on a few, but we wanted to keep it lighter.
We gave a 1 out of 10. We got
deserved. But they were cool about it. So I'm like, okay, fair game. But yeah.
I mean, we're gonna for that one. Well, if we come back at it again, it's gonna be one stream. We're not gonna honor everybody. We're gonna pick and choose randomly, and we're gonna don a mean persona, and we're gonna have a cameo from the Wea Pooch herself. And if she barks, it's getting a 1 out of 10. That's it.
That would be funny. She'll be like the emperor who gives the thumbs down.
Like she sees Tokyo Revengers in the list, like 8 out of 10. Barks, it's over.
Woof woof. Yeah, I could see that.
Amethyst says it all went downhill after the first person who got roasted, to be honest.
And she was the first person. Yeah, I agree.
So basically, I tuned in, watched my own, and peaced out.
I would do the same.
I mean, I would too. That's the whole helpful thing about timestamps. That's why we did them. It's like, okay, let me just skip to mine.
Yeah. So I'm glad people enjoyed it. I mean, I think it was cool to see a lot. Honestly, it's all kind of a blur at this point.
Yeah, last few weeks have just been a blur.
But I'm glad that we coined the phrase anime enjoyer. I was thinking of making my Twitter bio part-time enjoyer of anime. So
I might do that too. Let's do a coordinated effort.
Part-time anime enjoyer.
Yeah. Are you going to do it in your
t-shirt?
Are you going to do it in your display name or in your just your bio?
Might just be my bio. I don't know because I have too much in my display name.
No, I need to update mine because mine is part-time sleep-deprived zombie. So I just got to update that to just part-time sleep-deprived anime enjoyer.
Yes, some occasional.
Occasional anime enjoyer.
Sleep-deprived anime enjoyer is good. But yeah, I like the part-time anime enjoyer because it's like, because we keep using it as like a slur. We're like, got another anime enjoyer.
You're just an anime enjoyer. What do you know? Only the people that have not enjoyed anime, that have seen its dark side, know the truth. Come on, guys.
Okay, this is a good question. What average score for your entire list does one need to be considered an anime enjoyer? I think if you have above a 7 average.
Oh yeah, if you have above a 7, you are an anime enjoyer.
You're enjoying anime. You're say it in like the most.
Dare I say anime lover? Anime lover.
Anime
That's a little
addict.
too high. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's also like got to take into consideration how many shows they've seen and then what the average is. It's not like just one. Because if you watched like 10 anime and you have a 7 average, that's like not much of an enjoyer of anime. That means like you're barely enjoying anime. But if you've seen like 100 or 200,
that means you're really selective about anime. If you only watch like a tiny bit and they're all like 10s.
Yeah, well, or if you watch 10 anime and then you give like most of them 6 and then you give like 3 of them 10. So like the way your average gets there is you're like, okay, so are you having a good time or not? But if you've seen like hundreds of anime and you have above a 7 average, like you are enjoying anime. Because I think I'm at like a 6.6.
What am I? Hold on, I'm gonna check.
Let's find out.
Who can get to my profile first?
Clearly, anyone above a 6.43 is a casual enjoyer. Anything under a 6.43 is an elitist snob. I think that's Amethyst's score. I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark. Okay, if you're at a 6, I think you're at a comfortable spot. Got over 210s, and I'm still at like a 6.72. I think that's good. Like I think that's good. Like you're enjoying anime, but not in like a sarcastic way.
Like genuinely enjoying anime.
Like you're genuinely having a good time. I think.
Oh shit! I'm an anime enjoyer.
When you got a revelation,
no.
You're like, no.
Actually, no, I do need to fix my scores, so it's all going to change now.
You have the benefit of the doubt of like, my mal is under construction, but now
No,
you're
because
going to score them lowly.
No, because I know some scores went down. I actually know. I've felt some disappointment on rewatches, so.
Which ones?
Yeah, I'm not telling you.
No, I want to know.
You'll find out.
Like that.
You'll find out when it's updated.
I will not. You're not going to do it.
Excuse you. What did you do to me recently that I was just like, oh no, never mind. I won't mention that. But that was messed up.
What did I do?
You didn't tell me some critical piece of information that I needed to know, and you were all like, he. Yeah.
I didn't know what to pick out. I will pick out something.
Yeah, dude. I was like about to send you a list of figurines and just been like, pick one.
That would be funny to show on stream. By the way, to expose Onimaru, he has a 7.27. Top number 1 enjoyer of anime.
It's like literally putting anime enjoyers on blast, and I am like a self-hating anime enjoyer.
Am I the anime enjoyer all along?
I was the anime enjoyer all along.
Yeah, that's just so funny to see. No, that's funny. But you also just don't have a lot of things scored, I think.
Yeah, but I am like, dude, I have a spreadsheet for my score benchmarks. So it's going down. Like I've like determined this, I'm taking time. It's rough. Like really selecting, okay, these are 10s and these just don't make the cut.
Enjoy anime. Yikes.
That's a red flag, buddy. Imagine like you're going like on a dating app, like a blind date. You're like, getting to know them, and like you see their mean score is a 7.2. Like, you're an anime enjoyer. I don't know about that.
Funny thing is, wow, you actually enjoy anime. Yikes is something else you would probably hear on a dating app once you mention anime. Probably be like, oh,
that's why it's so funny.
Oh,
but it'd be even funnier if it meant like they actually like, no, it's not that you watch it, it's that you enjoy it.
You have to go back to 2 things. But I watched Onimaru's Mal rating series. I believe it after the amount of times where it sounded like he was critiquing the show a lot, and then he gave it a 7 or an 8. LMAO.
Exactly. This is what I mean. Like I literally had to put like all these shows together and like see them in one place and be like, how is this an 8 and this an 8? Like, come on. Like there's clearly some inconsistency here. So
you see some and you're like, I don't think so. And they also said they have 5 10s after around 150 and an average of 7.5. Okay. I think that's pretty fair. I think that's fair. I think I had 5 10s at that point. Actually, I might have had more, but I rated a lot of stuff lower, so I'm like, nah.
Currently in my revised thing, I only was able to muster like 3 10s. It's tough.
Do you think you'll end game will only have 3 10s?
Yeah, it's looking tough.
But what will it be? I feel like, okay, because looking at your favorites now, I don't think they'll be your favorites then. Oh no, they might be. I was wrong.
No, hold on.
Because I wasn't sure if Mob Psycho Season 2 was your top 3, but I feel like that'll be like a 10.
Yeah, some of these are coming off.
They're out of here.
Yeah, sorry. Some are not. Some are. So, it's tough, man. Because it's tough, like, because when you're thinking about 10s, you're just like, because like you want to compare like one to the other, but then you also don't want to compare them because like not all 10s will be the same. Yeah. So it's like, it's a different experience. So it's like, yo, but it didn't make me feel this way. But then what part of that is valid? Like, what is comparable and what's really not?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I try and think of it in terms of like, what are they trying to do and how well do they accomplish it? And all of my 10s have like a specific, they have like a specific moment where I'm like, yeah, this is a 10.
Yeah, yeah.
They got to have the moment.
I want to do that. Like, I've never like pointed out like specific, like this is the moment, like, or like moments in anime that are just like peak. So that's another spreadsheet for another day.
I think I did a 3x3 of it. It's like the moment where I was like, okay, this is a 10.
I mean, I think I can pinpoint it in Ava. I think, but that only happened in my rewatch. It's got, if we're talking about the TV series, it's got to be episode 19 with Kaji in the watermelon field giving advice to Shinji. Tanato's plays in that moment. Shinji runs back. I'm like, oh my god,
he did the thing. That's a great moment. Like,
it's
I could see that being like, this is the peak.
Especially when I started to notice like Kaji's like inherently more nurturing. Like he has like more feminine tendencies where he's more nurturing, like to Shinji, as opposed to Misato, who has like more like masculine tendencies. I don't know. I was analyzing it from that angle, and I was like, you know, and he's like watering his like the plants, the watermelons. It's like, yeah,
that's a perfect moment with like the silhouettes and the background. That's like
yeah, it's good,
peak.
Good stuff.
I'm trying to think because I think I remember it a lot of times, especially in like long running series where I'm like, is it good? I don't know if you felt this with some, but I have like a lot with where I'm like, it's a like the highest 9 it could be, and I'm just like waiting. But like I'm not like, I'm really stingy with 10s. Like I'm like, you really need to prove to me that you're a 10. I can't just give you a 10. You know, it's not about me convincing you you're a 10. It's you convincing me you're a 10, which is like, you know, a small difference where like a show or whatever I'm consuming, it has to be like, nah, this is the 10. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
And I think that, no,
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, and I think that mindset helped me too, to figure that out, because like it's easy to just be like, well, you know, the show's, you know, it's nice what it's doing. Like I get what it's doing, but then it's like, no, this is your list. You gotta set the terms. It doesn't need to get a pity ride into your 10s just because, you know. So you could be, I think the more stingy you are, the more it because then you're essentially, what you're doing is you're being honest with yourself. You're like, okay.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and like I was thinking of it as like I've had it with some of the big ones where like Gintama, it's like is teetering on 9 for a bit. I'm like, is it gonna make the 10? Especially because I've had some times where like I get to the arc where people are like, yeah, this is the best arc in the show, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it was like really fantastic, but I didn't feel that like click that they did. So then I start panicking, and I'm like, what if this is like a series I really love, but it's not a favorite, or if it's not a 10? And I'm like, what if I end up getting disappointed? Like, what happens? And then what ends up happening is like the next arc or next episode or whatever, it'll have something, and I'm like, oh no, there it is. It showed up finally. And I had that with like Gintama and Yumi Neko. I think those are the big two where I'm like, what if it doesn't happen? When does the peak happen? And then the peak happens, and I'm like, yes. I
gotta say that is the hardest thing. That's actually even harder. Like your favorites having to be a 10. You know, like that.
Well, it kind of like asserting itself as a favorite. Not necessarily just about the 10, but I'm like, when will it get to that like that moment where I'm like, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
Like the peak of the peak moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. Well, actually, I won't give away much more because Ava's an obvious 10. So that one. We'll
find out what'll make the 10. Let's see. One moment. No, I'm not even talking about. That's so funny. Benzikuro was not. Benzikuro was like that was not the one I'm talking about.
That's an arc. Okay.
Yeah. That was not the one I was talking about. Shout outs for 10s. We got Oblivion. I'm not reading out the Yumi Neko moments just because I don't want to spoil it. Clannad After Story, episode 18, is the 10th moment in anime history. Kind of agree, but like not the same scene that everyone goes to. I'm more of a train scene merchant, not a Field of Feels merchant.
There's the merchant ideology again.
I got to bring it up and meme it, so I also don't spoil it. And then this is I agree with this. If you have to think if it's a 10 or not, then it's not a 10.
I did hear something along the lines of 10s or something aren't like really things that you consider. What is it? It's not that you liked it; it's that it impressed you. So if it leaves you in awe, like that's more of a what you'll consider a 10.
Life-changing moment kind of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have that because not everything. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are like very impressionable with media, and I'm not on that level. Like a lot of times are like people are like, this show changed my life or my way of thinking, and a lot of times that doesn't really happen with me. Like I've had that happen a couple times.
I think I might be a little more impressionable than you when it comes to media. I think.
Well,
I don't know, but then
I don't know. No, you go ahead.
But then you'll have a show that you'll just be like crazy about, and I'm like, nah. So then it's like,
well, it depends on like the show. I mean, I think there are a lot of shows that have left like a positive impact on me, and like I can talk about them a lot, and I like really appreciate them. But you got to think like, what is really life changing? Like changing your impression on things, changing your perception. I've had that with like one show I can think of, and other things might have happened to smaller extents, but like there are very few things where I'm like, I watched this show and now I have a different output on life.
Yeah.
Outlook, not output.
I gotta read Poon Poon. I
don't think Poon Poon is gonna do that for me. Because
I have it on my list.
I think it's just gonna be so sad. I'll be like, okay, but what? Like, okay, so, like,
all right, you're sad. Now what?
Okay,
you gotta get along with misery.
Yeah, that screenshot is like. So then I'll just love Girls Last Tour again. This is a good question.
Shaw downplays how savage she is. Just throwing that out there.
I don't. They just said we weren't savage enough. But like,
yeah, because we didn't bring it to the pod.
You're right. You're sad, but what? I'm gonna say that from now on.
You're sad, but what?
Can I say that for like every depressed show? You're sad, but what?
We have to. Now it's a meme. Now like our true fans will know if we're saying it. It's just a meme. You can't come at us.
Tom quickly said, I think Shaw will love Sachin from Poon Poon. If she says you're sad, but what? That's gonna be me. Questions I have: do you guys edit your scores with other shows and the genre in mind? And how often do you edit these scores? And do some shows make you reevaluate what is a 10?
So I'm still a work in progress, so you know.
You can't just back out of this one.
I mean, all right, because I haven't really fully edited all my scores, but let me try to tackle this in my noobish ways. How do you guys edit your scores? So like we're saying we'll compare them within the genre. So if let's say I'll compare a Psycho-Pass, which I haven't watched, to like another show like it, and then is that what we're talking about?
Like yeah, let's use like Battle Shonen for an example. Like,
good.
That's my bread and butter. So it's like what's like a 10 out of 10 for that? I think it's like helpful, especially when it comes to like I'll think okay, this is a good example. Like so a lot of people get on my ass for this, but like actually everyone does for possibly good reason. So like when I say like My Hero Academia is like a 6 or something, and then I bring
oh no, I'm leaving.
I'm out. But then I'm like, no, it's like a decent show, but like I feel like underwhelmed by it. And then I bring up something like Seven Deadly Sins, and I'm like, no, guys, this show is like actively awful. Like I think the show is bad. So, and I give that like a 4, and I didn't continue it. And then when I say like Black Clover is like very bad, like there's a huge difference between saying like Seven Deadly Sins is a really bad show and me giving like My Hero Academia like a 6, because I'm still considering that to have like good qualities. And then I think about it and I'm like, no, I cannot in good conscience give these shows anything close to each other. But I think, and I could see giving myself My Hero Academia stuff higher, especially since I liked season 4 and stuff. But
so that Endeavor fight is an example of one thing changing the rating.
Life. Yeah, changed my life. The one show that changed my life was My Hero Academia season 4 Endeavor fight. Yeah,
that brought up the ratings so quick, and I didn't even regret it, no hesitation. But this does help because, like, using shonen as an example, because I realized I actually really do love shonen, but not a lot of shonen at the end of the day do I think is like peak fiction. Yeah, like the one that. And I was actually having a tough time with this. So spoiler for my ratings was Hunter x Hunter, because I love Hunter x Hunter, and I was like gonna give it a 10 out of 10, but I was like trying to be stingy with it because there's some things about it that I don't remember as much, and I kind of didn't like. I don't feel like I fully appreciated while I was watching, so I didn't feel like, okay, I'm not like a true stan. I'd have to probably rewatch it and see how I feel about it. So I was like, okay, this is the highest of shonen, in my opinion, probably, but I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. But I know like where it stands, at least among the others.
Would you put that above Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, or is that higher?
Oh, that's right. No, what? No, we said battle shonen.
It is a battle shonen.
Does FMA Brotherhood count as a battle shonen? In it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wars. No, but those fights are more. Those fights are more philosophical.
No, what does that mean? It's scientific. They're scientific fights.
Shit. Fuck. That's tough. All right, we're gonna come back to that. Yeah. And then second part of this question: how often do you edit these scores? And do some shows make you reevaluate what is a 10? I think this is more for you, Shaw.
I don't really edit scores too often, unless I've seen them recently. I mean, sometimes I do, but like, I haven't really reconsidered what's a 10. So actually, no, this is a lie. I just recently had this the other day when I was going through my one of my spreadsheets. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I think I might like suck for not having Perfect Blue as a 10 when in my head I hold it in such high regard. Like, I think Perfect Blue is like a practically perfect movie that is like way ahead of its time. It's like just kind of peak. And I don't have it as a 10 because I always have like mini gripes with the ending. And I've seen it like 5 times. So like I've rewatched it a lot.
Well, but I have it as a 9 as well. And my gripe is the ending. So,
but it's not even like fully the ending. It's like small parts. It's like something new. But like in my head, I still hold it in such high regard. I'm like, should I just suck it up and give it a 10? And that's what I really consider, because I'm like,
if you have to think about it, it's not a 10.
That's true. But it's like, if I hold it in such high regard, should I just give it a 10 anyway?
Well, hold on. I hold Nana in high regard, really high regard, but it's not a 10. But that's also because it hasn't ended. But hey, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it is fair. That is fair.
Because like I don't know, the ending with like Perfect Blue, I could appreciate, but it didn't leave me like, like I don't know. I can't word it. Like I wanted a little more, so I wasn't like completely satisfied, but I thought the whole experience was amazing. So that's why it's like a high, like 9. But I was like, I didn't feel like. And some shows
I have more fun thinking about than watching, and I have a bad feeling it might be one of those cases.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of shows that maybe I didn't enjoy like on the first watch, because again, we're the opposite. I kind of go at it the basic way. But then the more I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. This is really cool. It's like, and then it lives rent free in my head.
Yeah. Drax said this comment, I don't think I've let a show change my mind on anything. That sounds kind of unhealthy when you think about it, because most shows lack nuance. I don't know if that's related. Like, if a show is like you could watch one show that's really similar to another, and it might change your appreciation for it. When I saw the Bunny Girl movie, it made me appreciate Disappearance of Haruhi so much because it ripped off so much from Disappearance. I was like, I got to give credit where the credit is due. Like, nah.
I got to rewatch Disappearance of Haruhi. I remember nothing about it, but I just remember watching it and being blown away.
I might too.
But that's still a 9.
I gave it like an 8. I gave it a 7 at one point because I'm like, do I really like it that much? And then I was like, then I watched the Bunny Girl movie and I'm like, yeah, Disappearance is an 8. I think I need to do this. I need to give respect.
Yeah. I mean, from what I remember, it's a 9, but hey, I got to rewatch it.
Yeah. Got to respond to this. I'm surprised 7 Deadly Sins. I dislike it so much since the most part it's just simple action adventure shonen. That's where you're wrong. Because I've seen simple action adventure shonen, and 7 Deadly Sins fails at that. I think the characters are just like really bad, and I don't find the action interesting.
The only one I like is Bon. But even
same.
then, my friends got me on 7 Deadly Sins like years ago, like back in 2014. Like they kept talking about the manga, and I didn't know what they were talking about. So I'm like, okay, let me read the manga. And from the beginning, compared to other shonen, 7 Deadly Sins always felt like mid to me. So
yeah, like I think it's just not good at establishing any sense of like fun dynamics amongst the cast. I don't think they're badass really, and like I'm not engaged in like any of it. Like
like the only interesting
Bond.
Yeah, like the only interesting parts, and I'm not trying to be like overly negative about it, but like the only interesting parts was the lore stuff, because I love stuff like incorporates like lore, like Arthurian legend and stuff like that. Like that's all interesting. But I don't know, it wasn't always like fully compelling. And again, like Shaw said, the characters, besides Bond. Yeah,
Bond was the only like remotely interesting one. I And then it's like at some point, if I don't enjoy the characters talking to each other, even if it's an action series, like I'm not gonna get far. So I think it's not good. So and that's where I run into respect the series I've given higher but not high enough scores.
Weirdy says, been rewatching FMA Brotherhood, and if I were to judge it as a battle shonen, I don't think it ranks that high. It has other stuff to add. See, that's the thing. I just rewatched it recently too. So like I didn't feel like it was like a battle shonen because there was just so many other stuff kind of going on. Its focus wasn't really the battles. It sort of just had battles in it.
But I think it's like depends on like what you're calling that. I think a battle shonen is just shonen series that have action in it and have fighting in it. So I'm not thinking of it in terms of like tournament arc, power scaling. Well, like power scaling and stuff. Because I think the power system is good too.
Well, the power scaling is a big part of battle shonen, but I guess no, because I would say like a good example is like, would you consider JoJo's a battle shonen? But I think it is. It is battle shonen.
I think Attack on Titan is battle shonen. And I know people don't want to because they're like, oh, but it's about the military. But in every battle shonen series, you can make it not about the battle shonen aspects, you know? Like I don't think limiting the subgenre is as helpful as it is to say like, yeah, these all.
Because I think you know what it is. It's like if we have to do categories, I think more of the focus. It's just where the focus is. So I'm gonna have to like semi disagree that I think like Attack on Titan becomes either ends up becoming, and does have that from the beginning. It's more of like a political shonen, and so is like Brotherhood, since it's dealing with the government overall and all that stuff, kind of like government, alchemy, and kind of the nation and kind of stuff going on. Whereas like there is more heavy emphasis on the battles in JoJo's, in Hunter x Hunter, in like shows like that. Even though there isn't necessarily a tournament arc, there is more thought put into how the battles are constructed. So like Araki, like with JoJo's Part 3 was all about, okay, I'm going to come up with stands so I don't have to deal with the power scaling problem and we can keep having clever and interesting battles. And that kind of carries on till the recent part. So there's a overarching plot and other stuff kind of going on, like we need to save this person, do this thing, but it's still inherently focused on battles. Hunter x Hunter is really focused on battles. Like it goes through different genres. It does it excellently. It kind of gives a lot of variety. It's very interesting, but it comes down to the battles. You know, that's kind of the
I just probably view it in a more like if they have fights and it's a shonen, I think it's a battle shonen. But I can definitely see the other point of view on that.
Yeah, and it comes down to like even with the whole filler conversation earlier, it's like a matter of association. You know, it's not. Yeah. I don't think there's a clear cut right or wrong. It's just what most people associate it with.
Yeah. And I think you could make an argument that like a fundamental aspect of Full Metal Alchemist and Attack on Titan is the fights, especially in like, you know, the early seasons and like even later parts. Like they're just fighting. It's just a different way of going about that.
True.
Yeah. So it could go either way, but that was a interesting tangent on if you put Full Metal above Hunter x Hunter.
I mean, this whole thing has been tangents.
No, yeah, we love our filler arcs.
Yeah. Have a question. How the literal fuck does Edward defeat Father? More on that later.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember.
I think everyone did kind of. Well, it was Greed.
Like
Greed did Greed helped him out.
It was kind of everyone helping out together.
It was kind of a power friendship moment, not in like the deck. And not in the mean sense, more in like a cool payoff.
It didn't do it in the, you know, the contrived way.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of did it in a nice, like built up way, like culminated over kind of all the links, like of the people that kind of showed up. And however, I'm explaining that, but yeah. Yeah. JoJo, I feel is more battle shonen than FMA. Yeah. We went over that. Turtleman, I think if the main way to explore characterization, themes, and story progression is through fighting, then I'd count it.
But I think you could make a case for other series that do have a lot of battles that they're not necessarily done through fighting. Like sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. It depends.
I mean, I consider Queen's Gambit a battle shonen.
So would you consider like Death Note a battle shonen?
Fuck. I mean, I feel like Queen's Gambit is structured like a shonen because it's like the training arc, the, you know, kind of underdog, kind of, you know, getting better.
It's a sport. It's a sports anime. It's not a battle shonen. It's a sports anime.
You got it.
You got it.
There you go. That's it. Because that definitely is a distinguishing factor. You got your sports, then you got your battle shonen.
Yeah. I'm going to be real. Given a verdict on FMAB versus Hunter x Hunter sounds like lose-lose in terms of causing shitstorms on the internet. I don't have a problem doing that because I have Hunter x Hunter above FMAB, and then I have them both in my top 5, so no one can be mad. I mean, they still will be, but they can't because I still love them. But I don't know. I might end up lowering FMAB if I finish rewatching some stuff.
So for my intent and purposes, going back to the original topic about using shonen as an example to kind of judge within a genre, I personally would not include Brotherhood into that. So I'm including like things that pretty much are more similar to Dragon Ball Z, put it that way, because I feel like.
But then I haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, so how would I know?
But this is for me. This is my personal
this is my list.
This is my Neon Genesis
stage.
Evangelion. He punches him in the face. Whoops. Drac weighs in. Yes, Attack on Titan is definitely a battle shonen, which is why it kind of goes bad after it stops being about that. I'm just not going to say anything. So Ava is a battle shonen. Okay, this is devolving. We need to let me look up another topic I have. Let me just let's get us out of here.
Agrees with me. That rhymes really well.
I think I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I do like Hunter x Hunter over Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't know. That feels more like a personal preference.
The more I grow, the more FMAB 03 grows on me more than Brotherhood. That is a show I don't think will age well when I rewatch it. Like when I watched 03, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. Not like Brotherhood level, but like the more I think back on it, there was like some shit in that was like, no, not Gucci.
That show left me really mad, so I never am planning to rewatch it. So,
but the robot guy, like,
I don't remember. I don't remember anything.
One. Yeah,
I mean, what? The robot guy in FMA 03?
Yeah, they turn him into a robot as if like that's a normal thing that could happen.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. The second half is just super disappointing. So but I have heard like if you want to do a real like a better rewatch, you just watch the first 25 episodes of 03 because it like better pacing, and then you skip to Brotherhood. But at that point, I should just read the manga.
I'm going to read the manga. I have the whole collection on me. I think I heard that's the best experience with it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. So now it's the moment you've all been waiting for those of you that have been valiant enough, patient enough to stick around with us to this point, only 2 hours and 52 minutes later. We are going to talk about, as promised, plot. This is it. Shaw's going to start it off. She's going to give us her top 10 ranking of best anime boobs in the game. And keep in mind, she's an ass person, so she is biased. But we're gonna try to get through this.
Picky and biased.
And we're gonna go through 10, 9, 8, 7, all the way down to 1. So in the spirit of this Mal scoring conversation. So I'm gonna let Shaw take the stage.
Okay. So I have to look up. I gotta look it up. Okay. It's starting with 10, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm about to just make some shit up. Get hyped. I think we can still. I know the big argument is Colin versus C2.
Oh shit! I haven't had to deal with that moral dilemma quandary since 2009. So that's back on the docket.
It's back, and it's not looking good. I feel like I'm bad in like. Let me look up best anime.
I think I have an answer for this. I think I have an answer, but it's not about me. It's about you.
It's not fair.
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't want my answer to influence yours.
Okay. I will pick the opposite just to make you.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But now you're gonna have to you're gonna have to 200 IQ figure out like what I'm thinking to predict, so you can call out the opposite.
Okay, I'm going to say it first. C2 is always my pick, and I think she has great boobs, even if she's known for the butt and pizza. But I'm still gonna pick her because I got loyalty.
All right. I'm not loyal, so but realistically, Colin? Yeah, we'll just go Colin.
Yeah.
Well, she's hot. She's really hot, nice to look at, great, but C2 better. Sorry.
So yes, so we got it. Yeah.
Personality, pizza, boobs, butt, you name it. She's got it all. Yeah, mystery.
She's pretty much peak. She's the peak.
Yep.
You know, if you Google top anime boobs, there's a site that's like best sexiest anime girls with big boobs.
You know what she's got? Fun. She's got balance. And balance is what you need to live a healthy life. That's it.
That's pretty much it. Okay. I don't know if I have 10 based on who I have, because I have made a top 20 most attractive anime girl list. I did make one back in the day.
Okay.
But
I mean, you could, if you don't have 10, you can just skip to worst.
No, I can't think of worst. Can you think of like who actually has bad boobs? They're not like.
I mean, how would you tell? Like,
like
we're not going by size, right? We're just going by just bad big boobs.
Yeah, bad. Oh yeah, that would just be like hentai style. Okay, so I'm going. Let's do number 5. Yeah, I'll start with 5. Okay, let's go Ryuko.
Oh, it's like as
best. We're doing 5 best.
Oh, okay, best.
Okay, Ryuko, Kill la Kill. I'll do Faye from Code Bebop. Then I'll do I'm gonna do Tsukio from Gintama. I'm gonna do it. I think it's fair. It's a fair pick. 2, we got Alice from Shokugeki. And then top 1, you know there can only be top 1, and it's Hanekawa from Monogatari.
Oh, from Kizu.
From Kizu.
Monogatari. Yeah.
Hey, the fact that there are Kizu character design haters means like we're never getting anything nice in this world.
Although I love that you did not include at all Kiss Shot, Shinobu, because technically in her adult form, they're just they're kind of they rival Hanekawa's.
They do, but they're not as aesthetic.
They're not as aesthetic.
Well, because my favorite Kiss Shot design actually
is the 17-year-old form, right?
Yeah, the one with the cool like gloves and like.
They should have just kept that. That should have just been it.
Isn't it gorgeous? It makes me happy. Like I see the gif of her like curtsying, and I'm like, I love.
It's so good. I just like it did not have enough screen time. That's what pisses me off about it. It was only around for like 5 minutes, and then they just went off to the next one.
How they expect me to give it a 10 when I see the way they can get it a 10 and they don't capitalize on it?
Yeah, exactly. Amethyst says Team Colin. I honestly think you're just being contrarian. You're just being contrarian.
Nitpicky and biased.
Yes, Code Bebop. It is a fusion of Code Lyoko and
Cowboy Bebop. I say Code Bebop? My top 4 and 5 pick are Code Bebop.
Code Bebop. Don't watch the live action. Don't even watch the original. Just watch Code Bebop.
That'd be a banger crossover, right?
I feel like that'd be a cool like if we ever got like a promo code for like a sponsor, we'd just be like, all right, just type in Code Bebop.
Yeah.
Drax says, yeah, I don't really like any of the women from Code Geass. The major from Ghost in the Shell is more my thing. Type of lady you can take bowling and a drink with beer with. Okay, yeah,
he's a robot.
Cool. That is as savage as you're sad. So what?
You're sad, but for what?
You're sad for what?
You're sad for what? Is that the like go-to?
That sounds like the Little John song.
So sad for what?
Yeah.
So we're saying Ryuko is better than Satsuki. Okay, I think I like Satsuki more, but like that's not the conversation. It's not the boob conversation.
Is it not the boob conversation?
Well, Ryuko is team boobs, and then Satsuki is team ass.
But Satsuki has boobs.
Yeah, but they're not the like star of the show.
I gotta rewatch that show.
Yeah, I seen it like 6 times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once.
It's like the best rewatch show. You can just go crazy, like watch it like 10 episodes in a day.
I have a deep appreciation for it. Loved it. Got to get Mika Kobayashi to sign my half naked print of Satsuki. You know,
That's
it was
awesome.
her in the uniform.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was cool.
What is your list?
Of what?
The top boobs. So I had to come up with it on the fly. You got to do it.
And that's all we got for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining
No.
us. If you expected a list from me, honestly, what did you really expect? Because after all, we're just weebs. You're just like, Shell's like, okay, that was a joke, right? You're going to actually tell
I
me
was
the
like,
list.
I'm like, it could go either way, but this is so funny.
I mean, we could just leave it there. I didn't do the whole spiel about everything else, but you know what? Everyone stuck it out. We're good. You don't need to hear more from me.
I can't believe I just came up with it on the fly.
I am so proud of you, but I think you're really good at that. I'm not. So
No, you can't pull it off that way.
I mean, like, there's just so many anime characters. You know, it's like
I took Hanekawa, so it's kind of
you kind of did. But when you look at Hitagi, you know, she kind of
okay.
She
I
does
was
have a great.
looking at like fan art where her boobs were bigger. I'm like, I don't think this is based on like reality, but
Probably not.
yeah, but like she does too. She does great.
Yeah, but this will make a return in a future episode when I have a spreadsheet prepared.
You need this needs this spreadsheet.
I'm just gonna have like 50 spreadsheets after this. Just like, I think I've started a new arc. Spreadsheet arc is pretty dope.
The spreadsheet arc.
Yeah, spreadsheet arc. So it's been cool. Anything else? I think we've talked about everything. We technically ended the episode.
I feel-
go ahead.
I was disappointed that I didn't get out the green screen because I didn't have time because we set up the Christmas tree today. But I was gonna put up the beach behind me because we could be like, it's a beach episode.
We should do that next time.
Do that in the future.
We do
We
that
come
for
on with
the,
sunglasses and we're like,
yeah.
it's a beach episode, guys.
That's the next filler episode.
We come out with like the Darling in the Franxx one, and we find a book and we're like, this is how babies are made. Like,
Oh my god. We need to have an episode of that. Actually,
Darling in the Franxx.
an episode with a rewatch. No, never mind. I wouldn't do that. to you.
I'd love to react to Darling in the Franxx. They
Okay.
won't copyright claim us, will they?
I mean, I think if we don't show it, we should be good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we could just do
Show
a thing
like
where
the
like,
bottom bar of it.
yeah. Just
I think that's
just-
what React channels do.
Yeah. But didn't AJ recently do a React video where he showed Arcane?
I'm
in it?
not sure. I gotta check because I haven't
in the-
seen
in-
Arcane yet, so I didn't check.
I
it
saw
out, but-
screenshots of his, like, I didn't watch his video. I didn't get a chance to, but I saw screenshots of it and I saw like Arcane in the corner. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but you need to watch it. I
I
told my friend
do.
to watch it. He texted me yesterday, like, hey man, it's good. I'm like, told you.
Yeah, I've been putting it off because I haven't been in the mood, but like I need to like sit down and focus on it.
I mean, it's pretty easy to focus on it. That's one thing I'll have to say on it. Like, it's like not one of those shows that it takes a while. I mean, it does have some setup, but it's not like
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a chore in the beginning. It's sort of like,
Yeah.
okay. But I won't keep pressuring you, you know. You gotta
no, you're good. My friend,
find your own way.
my friend Tanik is a huge League player to his jargon, and then he loves the show, but he loved the show at the same time he was hating on Penguin Drum. So I don't want my petty side to come out and hate Arcane in retaliation.
Yeah, no,
so
no,
I
that's
gotta put
fair.
it.
That's fair.
I gotta
That's
put enough
healthy.
distance between the two events happening so I can watch it with a clean slate and not be like, "Fuck you."
I also
Arcane.
enjoyed it because I watched. I quit League years ago, but I was like, it was nice recognizing champions and picking out like, oh, I think this one is this one, and then
Yeah.
that one's that one.
And
So-
I don't know anything about League, so I feel like that might be like a lot of like Easter eggs would be lost on me.
No, not that much. It was just like a little bit of an extra bonus. I think you can still enjoy it because my friend that's watching it doesn't play League at all. So,
Okay.
and he said it's good. So,
That's good.
yeah, it just gave me a little bit of an extra, fun thing to comment on as I watched it with my fiance who does play League.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, toxic game. Don't do it. It tempted me afterward. I wanted to go back. I can't do it again.
Yeah, no one I know who plays League is happy with League. No one
The
likes
only
it.
times I was happy was happy
Yeah.
in quotes was when I had to be playing with friends, like a full party, 5 of us in like team, like group chat, like on a Discord call, like all talking to each other, reacting and playing. That's when it was fun, because it didn't even matter if we were losing bad. It was just kind of just fun.
Yeah.
If you're playing by yourself, nah, man.
Yeah, I heard it's just terrible.
It's depression central. Yeah.
Unrelated but dumb, because I got to the bottom of that random list I looked up of sexiest anime girls with big boobs. I'm dumb. I didn't even mention Fujiko Mine now that I'm a Lupin fan.
Someone said that in the chat early on.
I'm
like,
dumb.
She's literally the plot.
Prototype.
Carries the plot.
I fucked up. So.
Hey, we all do it sometimes.
Who said Fujiko? Why didn't I say her? I was so dumb. But anyway, number 1 was Black Hanikawa. So me and this website are on the same page.
Oh, Black Hanikawa though.
Yeah, they didn't say original Hanikawa. They said Black
Hanikawa. I'm trying to think. I'm going to just cheat and just Google best anime
If
boobs.
it's the coffee website, that's the one that I clicked on.
I don't know, but I'm looking at best, a list of best. Who's number 1? This is a list of 200. Jesus Christ.
It's Wajibi Hanikawa again.
Wow, it's Lucy from Fairy Tail.
You know, maybe though. I don't know. Weirdy said, I think you need to make a Fujiko ranking just because she's the only one to get redesigned every time. I would love that. Ranking Fujiko designs. That would be a good one to do. I'm not sure what the best one is, though. I feel like she has a lot of good designs, but I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't like her Part 5 design that much. I feel like that art style in general, I don't like the Part 5 designs, but I liked Part 4 designs. I don't know. Do I try and bully Onimaru into watching Lupin? I think you'd like it. It's really fun. Did you like Great Pretender?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. It's good.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Great Pretender, but like probably what Great Pretender was based off of. Only they're like stealing instead of conning, but that kind of goes hand in hand, you know?
All right. I mean, I'll check it out. I think that what gets me is the investment, like the chronology, kind of having to figure out.
Oh, you don't have to. That's the thing. I didn't watch the 200 part 2 one because they're all like episodic, so you don't have to watch it in order.
Tell you this. You curate the watching order for me, and I'll just follow that. But I don't want to prioritize it over any other contracts we may have in the future, because it's getting tough to find pockets of time to watch things.
That's true. I don't think I wouldn't say it as like a do this so we do a pod on it. Just watch it and see how you feel about it. But I found it to be like the perfect show.
No. We have to do a pod on everything we watch. What are you doing, Shaw?
Yeah, that's true. It's like if you're not watching anime to talk about it, are you watching it? And I guess the answer is yes. But with Lupin's been great because it's like predominantly episodic, but like sometimes it does have like an overarching theme, so you won't have the episode I saw doesn't impact this other episode. But like it's such a fun series that you don't really need to have like be like super focused. Like you just watch one on and chill.
So is it like a reset every time or is it sort of just side stories that kind of happened in the universe of Lupin, and they are like kind of canon, but it doesn't really matter because they don't really tie in? Like what's the...
I'd say it's kind of like that. I'm trying to think of the best comparison. So it does kind of reset, but like the basic formula that I think this is all you probably need to know, and then you can watch any Lupin, is so you got Lupin the Third. He's named Lupin the Third because his grandfather was the OG Arsene Lupin, like, you know, in Persona 5, like Joker based off like the Gentleman Thief.
Yeah.
It's like that, but like, so he's supposed to be his grandson. And so he's a thief who just goes around and he just goes around and steals stuff for the excitement of it. And he sends them a calling card ahead of time. So I just keep being like, yeah, it's like Persona 5, but like the OG. So like he sends a calling card and being like, I'm going to steal this. And the people he generally works with are Jigen, the guy who's like the master shooter, the gun guy who has the hat. Then there's Goemon, who's like this samurai assassin who like cuts through like cars and shit with his sword, with his samurai sword. And then there's Fujiko Mine, who's like sometimes in their group and works together, but sometimes she's their rival. And her and Lupin like have like a thing where he's always like crazy for women and tries to go after her, and she kind of baits him and like lures him away. And then there's the big detective, why is his name Zenigata, who's always trying to get Lupin. So those are like the main players that you'll see in and out of episodes, but everything else is kind of different. And I think like part 4 and part 5, like they all take place in the same setting, and they have like, as in the same country, because like they change countries depending on the like individual season. But a lot of times, like the episodes just kind of don't relate, or they're all happening and then like something big happens in the end.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. So it might be easy to get into.
Yeah, it was really easy for me. Turtle Man said this, and I kind of think of it like this too. Like someone explained to me that Lupin is like Scooby-Doo, so you can start from the modern TV series and just go from there.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. It's kind of just figuring out, just kind of figuring out where to start, essentially.
I started with the Ghibli film, the one that's on Netflix, and I don't know if that one's the best one, but I think with like the very bad basic intro I just gave you, I think you're pretty much good to go as long as you know like the 5 characters and how they work together. I think you're fine to go wherever.
All right, sounds good. Have you checked out the Netflix show by the same name?
No, I thought that was related, and I don't think it is.
It's not, but it's based on the original story of
like original Lupin.
Sorry, the thief. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't check that out. I might have to look into it. Is it good?
I heard it was good. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was. My friends were telling me it was good.
Oh, I might have to check that out.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's it. I hope you guys had fun. One thing I forgot to mention was we are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers to reach our goal of opening a Patreon and a Discord and other fun stuff that we have planned. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please help us grow by subscribing and, give us a like on the video if you letting us know if you enjoyed it. You can't give us a dislike, so you might as well like it. Now they're going to dislike it to challenge us. Yeah. And then let us know if you have any gripes with us about stuff we didn't cover. Let us know in the comments. Tell us, challenge us, because we'll definitely bring it up in the next one. As for next stream, we're not sure yet. Well, it's probably not going to be next Sunday. If we do have one Saturday or something, we'll let you know. Just follow us on the Just Weebs Twitter. We'll keep you guys posted there. Yeah. And besides that, I'm going to do the outro again just because we're Just Weebs.